from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. It's the first of two Quad A semifinals on the night as the undefeated Tucker Tigers, 13-0 out of Region 6, take on the undefeated Northside Eagles, undefeated at 13-0 out of Region 4. Game 4 of 5 tonight, 4 of 10 live this weekend right here on GPB, and the winner moves on to the state championship next Friday night. And a good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Garner alongside my broadcast partner, Phil Proctor. And Phil, I'm looking forward to a heavyweight matchup tonight between two unbeatens.
You know, ever since the season started, everyone had been talking about the possibility of this game happening. Now you got two undefeated teams. You got two great defenses. You got a first-year head coach, but he's got a lot of experience behind him. And then you got the veteran, Conrad Nix.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the Tucker Tigers. Of course, they come in here undefeated. Last year, they missed the postseason, which is very uncharacteristic for that program. But, boy, have they rebounded in a big way.
And this man that you see right here, Derek Harris, has been one of the reasons why this guy can do it all. Coming out of the backfield, he not only blocks well, but that he definitely gets out in the open space, and he can cause all kind of problems. And, see, that's exactly what Tucker's about. It's about speed, and this football team has a lot of it. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, this is my hero now. We got to see him a little bit before the game. 5'9", 184 pounds. Jonathan Davis is basically a football player. Coach Stevens said if you had to epitomize what a football player was all about, Jonathan Davis, he matches that description. And you saw 101 tackles.
We're going to talk about that young man a lot here tonight. Of course, Franklin Stevens, a first-year head coach for the Tucker Tigers, has done a remarkable job, and you got a chance to talk to him prior to the game here tonight as well.
Well, you know, the good thing about Coach Stevens is that he is basically coming out of that Jeff Herron system down in Camden County. So he basically came in with a philosophy of we have got to be more disciplined. He says not that the kids didn't have any discipline, but they needed more discipline. And I tell you what, he's got those guys firing on all cylinders right now.
Coach Stevens has done a remarkable job in his first year. All right, Phil, let's turn the tables and talk about Northside. We could go on and on about the Eagles all day long, but we'll start with the fact that their last loss was in the state championship in 2005. Since then, they've rattled off 28 straight.
Well, anytime you talk about the Northside Eagles, you got to look at Tywan Green, and I love that name, Tywan Green. And Green has over 1,600, 1,800 yards, and the guy is a phenomenal athlete. But watch out, because he may step in the backfield as the quarterback and take a direct snap. This kid is unbelievably dangerous. Once again, in the open field, he's somebody you're going to have to contend with. On the defensive side, now you know I'm an old offensive lineman, so I always have to go up against some of the best. Aubrey Jones. Now, Aubrey, 6'4", 240, 45 pounds, but what the coaches really like about him is he's a technician with his hands. He's able to play up and down the line, he's able to move upfield, and he actually has the ability to backpedal. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him dropping back like a linebacker, Dave.
Conrad Nix, of course, has been there for over 20 years, has done a remarkable job with this Northside football team.
You know, you think about Coach Nix, and offenses and defenses have changed over the years since I was playing. They call him a whole lot of different names and all this stuff. Conrad Nix has stayed up with that. He has changed along with the times, and so he's able to be a very successful coach, doing exactly what all successful coaches do.
Northside, of course, comes in here, as we mentioned, 28 in a row, looking for another state championship. They captured their first last year. It was pretty elusive, as much as a playoff tradition as they had. For them to be able to finally get that one was certainly big last year, and now they're looking to add to that for more. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to the sideline to meet the third member of our broadcast team tonight, John Nelson, standing by with more on this one. John? Back here, of course, we'll meet up with John a little bit later on, but looking forward to it, and it's going to be a great matchup here tonight.
Well, you know, one of the areas that I always focus on is that interior line. The thing that you're going to see tonight is the Eagles, they definitely got size up on that line. Tucker is not as big, but what they do is they are very quick, and they do a lot of trapping. You'll see a lot of pulling, and that could cause a lot of problems for that defensive line for the Eagles.
Right, and Tucker had talked about, you know, of course, going up against some size all year long, so it's certainly nothing new to them. We're going to be back in a few minutes right here. The kickoff coming up. It's Northside and Tucker, a battle of unbeatens right here in the first of two Quad A semifinals on the night. We'll be back to the Georgia Dome when we return. Back here inside the Georgia Dome, we had some technical problems a while ago, throwing it down to John Nelson, so let's return to John on the sideline. John, what do you got?
Here's the abridged version. Biggest news to come out of Warner Robins this week was that Marquez Ivory will play at quarterback. He's been out since October the 19th with a broken bone in his leg. So this has turned into a multiple choice test for Tucker. Any number of 4 guys could be taking snaps tonight for the Eagles. Back upstairs.
All right, thanks, John. Again, John joining us throughout the night here. Of course, Dave Garner, Phil Proctor, along with the rest of the Georgia Public Broadcasting team in the house here tonight. Friday Night Lights inside the Georgia Dome. And as you mentioned, Phil, up top, this is one of the most anticipated matchups since about mid-season. Folks were hoping that this might be a preview of a state championship. The two are meeting up here in the semifinals tonight, and it's all on the line.
Dave, that's exactly what it is. It's kind of like a preview of a state final. And Dave, did you check out John's tie? I mean, was that like loud enough? Okay, that's the way to get it started, Nelly. I appreciate that.
Hey, that's his personality, you know? I mean, there you go. They're going to look at Devin Pike, number 80, who will boot it away for Northside. Tucker will be on offense first. Derek Harris back deep as you see the Tiger sideline right there, united. These guys are fired up and ready to go. Folks making the trip over from DeKalb County. And also up 75 from Warner Robins. A heavyweight match here tonight. And Pike puts his foot into it, and we are underway. A kick will come down inside the 10. That's Harris on the return. 20, 25, 30, 35, and up to the 40 goes Derek Harris. And we're going to be talking a lot about number 5 here tonight.
You know, one of the things that, Coach Stevens really emphasizes is special teams. And you could see coming out of the blocks, people were getting their hats on, folks, trying to create some seams. And with the great caliber athletes they got, I got a feeling that you're going to have a track meet all night.
You saw Coach Franklin Stevens with one final word there to his offense before they took the field. And there you get a look at the starting quarterback, Chris Simpson, 31 of 54, 455 yards, 4 touchdowns against 2 picks. 1st and 10 for the Tigers' first offensive series. Simpson on the keeper, 8 up, going nowhere. Big play, Eric Fields, 34, the linebacker, came shooting through there and brought down Simpson for no gain. We'll take a look at that Tiger offense. Again, up front, they're not that big, but they are quick. Possibly the fastest offensive line in the state. Taylor, the center, flanked by Moore and Harp, the guards. Middlebrooks and Davis, the tackles. And the rest of the offense, Calhoun, Harris, Davis, Slaughter, and Clark, the tight end. Take your pick right there, Phil. They're all dangerous. 2nd down and 9 as you see Ivy in the shot, the leading tackler for Northside, and a little run here by Harris, who will pick up about 7 yards. Pretty good play there on 2nd down. He'll set up 3rd and short.
Dave, offensively, one of the things that Tucker wants to do is they want to be able to run that basic. Okay, as we watch the replay here, guard comes around. It's a lead block.
Taylor, Jones, Williams, and Thomas across the front for Northside defensively. The linebackers are a good core, Mitchell, Fields, and Ivy. And the secondary for Northside features Jordan and Morton at the corners with McBride and McGee. The safeties, again, the Northside defense only allowing 5.2 points a game in 2007. And a quick timeout going to be called by Tucker right here. The Tigers want to talk things over on this big 3rd down and 2 as you get a look at Coach Franklin Stevens.
Tucker. You know, David, like I said, I had the chance to go out to Tucker and just watch their practice. And one thing that Coach Stevens does, he starts practice off with special teams. And then it's defense. No matter if the defense needs some of the players from the offensive side, they go straight to defense. He prides himself on having a good, strong, and a very quick and talented defense.
You know, both these teams, Phil, seem pretty loose coming into the game here tonight. Caught up with them a couple hours ago. They were out here actually watching an earlier game, so that kind of tells you that both teams are sort of taking it all in here a little bit and pretty relaxed coming in.
Well, considering that, you know, Northside, they're no stranger to the Dome and being here. There's a couple of guys on that team, we'll talk about this later, that this is their 3rd consecutive trip to the Dome. On the other side of the ball, we talked to Coach Stevens. We said, are you concerned about the wow factor? Kids coming in and they're just, you know, his biggest concern was the roof, trying to be able to see the ball on like kicks and punts and things of that nature. He said once they get over the wow factor, they'll settle down and they'll go back and play Tucker football.
Tiger offense averaging over 36 points a game throughout the season, and they've done a majority of it on the ground. 90% of their offense coming from the run game. 3rd down and 2, right side at his number 4 with the carry, Tristan Carter, and he will have the 1st down after a gain of 4.
And Dave, this is one of the things that we're going to be looking at all night. It's like, this is not a very big offensive line at all. But the thing that they do well is they put bodies in front of bodies. And you don't have to be a pancake blocker to crush people to give your back just enough of a seam so they can make some things happen.
You're going to look at that offensive line Phil just talking about right there. A little bit undersized. Middlebrook's about 240, so that's in the neighborhood, but everyone else just very quick across the front. Tigers on the north side of the field here, and that is Jamorris Slaughter. The first time we call his name here tonight, and he'll have a gain of about 11 or 12 for a first down, and we're going to be talking a lot about number 8 here this evening.
And once again, he's a playmaker. You know, you sit back, you throw it out, and you just let guys create. You want to put them in space, and he is one of the guys that we can definitely keep an eye on all night. He will make a lot of things happen. You see it again, the quick throw to the outside. I like this kid, man, and I understand, Dave, you know where he's going to school.
Fighting Irish, I believe. Left side, big hole, watch out, 30, 25, 20. That is Jonathan Davis turning the corner, touchdown. Jonathan Davis, number 1, into the end zone, and just like that, the Tigers from Tucker are up 6-0. 36 yards on the carry.
Hey, Coach Stevens said it. He will win. He will play with speed. And Jonathan Davis, you know, we talked about him on defense, but he is a spark plug on the offensive side of the ball. And his quickness, once again, he's only 5'9", about 184 pounds, but he packs a lot into that 184.
Ricky Peacock, the place kicker, trying to add the PAT, and he does so. So with 9:51 remaining in the opening quarter, the Tucker Tigers, set up by that good kickoff return from Harris, are able to punch it in on a big touchdown run once again by Davis, and we'll take another look at it.
And notice once again how he just gets to the outside, and this is just pure speed. And these guys practice this all with this Delaware wing tee. These guys run it to perfection, and when you watch them in practice, they know exactly where they need to be. Coach just drills them over and over again. They bought into the system that they can run this offense, being a brand new offense with a brand new coach.
They're going to look at the scoring drive, 4 plays, 24 yards there, 36-yard touchdown run by Davis, and just a little over 2 minutes off the clock.
And don't think that Conrad Nix doesn't have an answer for that touchdown.
They're going to look at number 47, Peacock, once again, who just tacked on the PAT, and now he will boot it away to Nick Bass, who's back deep for the Northside Warner Robins Eagles. Left footer, a liner, and a deep kick back into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. So Tucker on the board first. A lot of people felt like the first team to score in this game may be the winning team because of the way both defenses have played, but you know Northside's going to have some offense, and they're going to look at Joe Scott, the starting quarterback here tonight. Came in about midseason in relief of Marquez Ivory, who of course went out with that broken leg, and you see Scott's numbers right there. Pretty impressive. That young man doing a great job in that backup role to really take over the lead.
And, you know, Coach Nick said he was really proud of the way he stepped up and was able to manage. He does something really well. He manages the game.
Direct snap around the outside to Bass, and he's going to have close to 10 yards there on the first play from scrimmage for the Eagles. Interesting play right there. Northside likes to spread you out, and Bass quickly around the corner for a pickup of 9, close to 10.
You know, both these coaches really want to try to spread you out as much as possible so that they can get their playmakers out in the space so that they can make great plays.
Second down and short right here for Northside. Again, the Eagle offense averaging 34.4 points of offense per game. Meanwhile, defensively, Tucker giving up just 4. Yes, just 4 points on the season. Scott to throw. He's got a man complete. That's a first down to Kevin Cooper, driven backwards by that Tucker defense, but not before a first down.
And if you notice, one of the first men that were there, it was Mr. Jonathan Davis. You know, these guys, they really work a lot at gang tackling, and there's nothing that they want. They do better than that. They're
going to look at the offensive line. Jones, Bibbins, the tackles are good. Oates, Zunino, the guards. Dooley, the center. Jordan, Green, the running backs. Cooper, Bass, the wideouts. And Evan Arthur, again, the tight end. 1st and 10 at the 35. A couple of receivers near side. Now Bass in motion once again, and a little misdirection play. Tywan Green, but not a lot of room there at all. Maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. Great job by that Tiger defense. And they're going to look at him across the front. Holloman, Ned, Billings in a 3-5-3 look. Johnson, Davis, and Carter, the linebackers. Couch, Lipscomb, the ponies, as they call them, with Harris and Daniels, the corners. And Slaughter, the free safety. They run a 3-5-3, a 3-3-5. They'll mix it up a little bit, but basically 8 in the box for Tucker here tonight. 2nd and 10. give on the ground, upended. Green in the backfield. That's a loss of a yard or two for Orlando Johnson, number 10, the first guy there. And boy, this Tiger defense is fired up here, Phil.
Well, you know, the good thing about these guys, man, they stay low, they stay at home. You can tell they're a well-disciplined ball club, and they will attack the ball player. I told you, Dave, this is going to be a fantastic game defensively.
That's what we're expecting anyway. We've heard a lot about both teams' defenses. We've seen it there. You're going to look at Johnson's numbers, the senior, 73 tackles and a pick to go along with that. And into the backfoot on that last play. So that forces 3rd and 11 right here for Northside on their opening offensive series. Scott under pressure will go down back at the 27. Marcus Clark, number 81, with the sack.
And once again, Clark just beat his man to the outside. Just straight up bull rush. Take a look at it. He just takes the tackle, just takes him to the outside, just beats him.
So a big 4th down right here. Northside will punt it away, 2 back deep, as you get a look at the man right there on that last play, Clark. Evan Arthur, the punter, handles the punting duties. Also, of course, the starting tight end. And that'll be Harris on the return. Reverses field into the middle. Good coverage by that Eagle special teams unit. While we were away, again, the Tucker Tigers up 7-0. Someone called a timeout on the field, so it actually worked out pretty well for us right there. Again, the Class Quad A semifinal, the first of 2 on the night. Of course, later on tonight, Thomas County Central and Ware County going at it to complete the championship picture. And the winner, of course, of these 2 games will move on to the state championship next Friday night at a location yet to be determined. Back to action here after a Northside punt. Tucker back on offense. That is Drayton Calhoun, number 23, with his first carry of the night. And it's good for 6, maybe 7 yards.
This is one of those things that you can look at. There are so many ponies in the stable. I mean, Tucker has just a lot of great athletes, and these guys can do a lot of good things. Offensive line, once again, all they're doing is getting out. They're putting a body on a body, a helmet on a helmet, and they're just creating seams.
And you saw Clayton Calhoun's numbers right there. 2nd down and 3 right here. And a quick give. That is Harris trying to turn the corner. Northside spreads it out a little bit. Flag comes flying in. And not much room there at all. He won't have the first down. Still going to be a couple yards shy of that. And let's check the penalty marker.
And there's my man Abry coming down the line. Remember, I told you he's a great technician with his hands. His defense won't let anybody outside. Good containment. Nowhere for Harris to go.
You look at Simpson, the quarterback, and Coach Franklin Stevens. A penalty on Tucker right here. Ivy, of course, the leading tackler on the team for Northside, a great job of really stringing that play out. Was really the first guy that got over there to the sideline. And this is a Northside defense that really goes east-west very well.
Block in the back, on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
Mike Boyd, the headman here tonight. And they're going to look at the rest of our officials: Jamie Dotson, Danny Holcomb, Billy Mortensen, Scott Willis, and Bruce Austin. The All-Star Football Officials Association in the house working this Quad A matchup here tonight. 2nd and 12. Tucker, 66 wins in 6 years, has put together a remarkable run, and Tristan Carter going nowhere, caught and dropped right at the line. Avery Jones, there's your man, Phil.
You know, one thing about these guys, man, they definitely stay low and they stay at home. Coach was telling me earlier about Northside's defense. These guys are definitely technicians. They will do the things that the coaches teach them to do. And as you see a result.
6'4", 250 pounds, and a 3.06 GPA. He's also getting it done in the classroom.
I think he's a little heavier than that, man. He might be about 260.
He may be, but boy, I tell you what, he runs well for a big man. 3rd down and 12 right here, and now Simpson out of the shotgun. Will look to put it in the air. Fires deep in the flat. Has a man complete. That is Nico Lipscomb with his first grab of the night. And that's good for a 1st down in to Northside territory.
And Dave, there were folks that were saying that they really didn't see that, you know, Tucker doesn't have that strong of a passing game. But I'm sorry, Simpson just showed us something totally different. Great pass protection. Gets to the outside. There's your man.
Well, you know, as we talked about, 90% of their offense being on the ground. But, hey, when they need that 10%, they've got the athletes to pull it off.
That's it.
So a first down and 10 at the north side, 43 for the Tigers, up 7-0, and on the move there is Calhoun once again. Picks up 4, maybe 5 yards there up inside the 40. And you know, Phil, we're talking about that offensive line being not very big, but these guys are really getting it done. They're getting off the ball in good shape here.
Well, once again, when you're not playing with size and you're playing against size, then you've got to use the next best thing you got, and that is speed. And that Tucker has a lot of that speed. And that's what coach is actually looking for, to be able to create using that speed. One of the fastest offensive lines probably in the state.
Second down and 5 right here. And a little keeper, Simpson into the middle. And down to the 35 will be about 2 yards shy of the first down, so third down and 2. And I want to mention, too, Phil, that Northside had went 18 straight quarters without giving up an offensive touchdown until that one while ago from Jonathan Davis. 18 straight quarters, that's remarkable.
18 straight quarters.
Without an offensive touchdown, defensively. But that streak is now over with.
So we'll come up with a different one now.
There we go. Coach Stevens looking on right here, second down and 2. Calling the plays here. Todrick Malone, the offensive coordinator for Tucker. And the Tigers keep it on the ground. That is Carter, who punches ahead and looks like he will have the first down. Depending on the mark, but I believe he got it. Bryson Williams, the man with the stop for the Eagle defense. And it will be a first down.
And Dave, you know, we talked about the different formations that Tucker will show you. And then on that last run, you know, guards pull out, pull around, just seal. Back just leads up in the hole, follows him. It gives Northside a lot to look forward to.
The Tigers have equaled their highest win total in school history this year. They were 13-1 in '94, and they've got 13 wins here coming into the game tonight. There's Davis around the corner once again. Watch out, 25-20, and drugged down out of bounds at the 15. Bryson Williams again with the stop, and Davis with a huge first quarter.
Once again, if we take a look at the replay, you can't, I mean, speed, you can't coach it. I mean, and this guy, as I said, Coach Stevens said he is an instinctive athlete. He just knows where to be and when to be there.
Well, I like what he said down to the hallway before the game. We had a chance to talk to that young man, and he said it's like Coach tells us, you either have it or you're chasing it, talking about speed. Tucker apparently has it.
Yeah, because you're chasing Davis as you go.
So another first and 10 right here. Calhoun trying to turn the corner, not going anywhere that time. Great job, Eric Fields. We've called his name a couple of times here early on. Fields, one of those big linebackers, shot through there and made the play for a loss of 2.
And that's what you want your linebackers to do. You want your linemen to get in there and fill the gap. Give your linebackers a chance to make great plays like that.
Northside, the defending state champs. 2 defensive touchdowns this year, and they had to replace 8 starters on that side of the football. So a young defense here tonight, as you see, total yards 111-7, obviously in favor of the Tigers.
Well, you ask Coach Nix, what does he really like about his young defense? It's the fact that they're young. You know they'll be back next year.
They're coming back.
A lot of them will be coming back.
Absolutely. 3 minutes to go here, opening quarter. And that one blown dead. 2nd and 12 upcoming. And a delay of game, it looks like. Tucker unable to get that one off. Coach Stevens, as we mentioned, an assistant to Jeff Herron at Camden County.
Delay on the offense. 2nd down.
Once again, Mike Boyd, our official. They're going to look at Conrad Nix. Spent 9 years as a coach in Alabama, 2 separate stints at Northside, but over 20 years altogether. And as you mentioned, I think the thing that really stuck out is the thing you mentioned in the pregame, Phil, the fact that even though he's an older coach, he's not very old school. I mean, he stays up with the types of offenses and the things that are going on. They is still on the cutting edge.
Exactly.
2nd and long after the penalty, and the ball on the ground, and the Eagles have it. The Northside defense with a big stop, and they get the football. Anton Williams, number 92 at the recovery. And that's a huge play because Tucker's looking to go up 2 possessions.
Well, let's look at it and see. Did he ever get, I don't even know if he had control of the ball.
I don't believe he did. Jarvis Reed, number 2, his first carry of the night. And yeah, that ball never really got in there.
And the good thing is, Northside, they never panicked on defense. They just hung in there. They kept playing their game. And you know, if you keep doing that, good things are bound to happen.
We're going to look at the big man right there. That's a lineman dream to be able to come up with one of those. So Northside back on the attack here offensively. Xavier Hawkins, 25, with his first carry of the night. And it's good for 6.
And it's times like these, Dave, that, you look for something to start building momentum on. And that defense, they were stout. They hung in there. They got a turnover. And, when you start playing championship football, you can't have turnovers. So this might be the momentum builder that they need.
Northside second down at 5 right here. They've outscored opponents 70-0 in the playoffs. But, of course, Tucker with this first quarter score here leads it 7-0. And on the carry, Taiwan Green, number 5, on the snap right there, picks up a few. It'll be 3rd down and short. Green, the all-time leading rusher, broke the record last week in the quarterfinals against Rome. The all-time leading rusher for Northside, Warner Robins, breaking the previous mark of Greg Manson, a standout running back. And, of course, Northside winning that one 30-0 last week. Surprising a lot of folks. Rome was a good football team, and everybody knew how good Northside was, but I don't know if they knew exactly how good they were until that game. Green rushed for a little over 200 yards in that contest last week, had a pair of touchdowns.
And Green is one of those backs that basically can do a lot of great things for you. Like I said, he blocks well. He'll get out there. He can catch in the open field. He'll just basically what you call him a playmaker.
Green once again lined up out of the shotgun. Will take a direct snap right here and will drive it forward. And that's one of the things that John Nelson talked about earlier on here tonight, is expect several different guys possibly to line up at quarterback, including Taiwan Green. That time, though, the Tucker defense held on 3rd down.
And you remember in our conversation earlier with Jonathan Davis, they said they started watching some film in Northside. They saw some things they thought they would be able to attack, and maybe that was one of them.
Marcus Ned with that last stop there. You're going to look at Ned's numbers, 58 tackles on the year, 12 for a loss. So this is a guy that makes a living in the backfield. Coach Stevens, you saw him right there on the sideline wanting a timeout. And that'll be the second one burned by Tucker here in this first period with just 53 seconds left.
And Dave, we were talking earlier about this is, Coach Stevens' first season. And so, you got Conrad Nix, who's been around for a long time. And Coach Stevens said, hey, it's not about me and Coach Nix. It's about these kids.
4th down and short. Northside punting it. Arthur angling it out of bounds away from Harris and does the trick. Not a deep punt, but it'll work. It's going to be about a 37-yard net kick. And Tucker will go back to work offensively with 47 seconds left here in this opening quarter. It's been a pretty quick one, as we anticipated, with both teams basically keeping it on the ground.
Well, we talked about that. I even told you to have the towel ready because I figured after the first quarter we were going to have to dap you down. But it's the kind of ball game that we said that we were anticipating we would see.
2 in the backfield this time. There's Calhoun, another carry. Big hole right side. Watch out. 40, 30. Still on his feet and down to the 21 goes Drayton Calhoun. KJ Morton and Darius McGee saved a touchdown, but another big gain on the ground by the Tigers, 34 yards.
And remember, if you're not that big, then you better get out there and you better run. And everybody put a hat on somebody, but you can't, once again, there's no way to coach speed. But what you do have, you got a Tucker Ball Club that really believes in their coach's philosophy.
Calhoun already with a big first quarter right here. 1st and 10, and they give left side back to the middle. That's Davis. He finds a crease in there and fights down to the 11. One of the characteristics, Phil, of this Tucker offense is even with a little bit of a size of differential, I guess, up front, these guys still open these huge gaping holes.
Well, you still got to remember, these are very strong young men. They may not be that big, but they're strong. And the other thing is they can get in and position their bodies where they can get up under some of those defensive linemen. And all you need is a slight push. These backs are so quick and so good, all they need is a seam.
Eddie Thomas up front, 99 you saw there for Northside's a big guy. Right now, though, it's Tucker again on the move. Calhoun once again denied the 5, but does pick up a couple of yards there, a big pile in the middle. And that will be the final play of this first quarter. Big first quarter for that young man right there, Drayton Calhoun, and for that Tucker offense. They're up 7-0 and on the move. Tucker up 7-0 as we start this second quarter inside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. And the Tigers knocking on the door once again here on a 2nd down. Inside the 5 there, that was Calhoun once again. Dave Garner, Phil Proctor with you. John Nelson sideline today along with the rest of the Georgia Public Broadcasting crew. And Phil, that young man, number 23, has gotten the bulk of the carries. Sometimes he's overshadowed by Davis and Harris, but number 23 standing out here, that might be part of the game plan.
Well, you know, no matter what, like I said, they got so many different weapons. I mean, coach doesn't have to depend on one. And that's, you know, it's probably a good thing, especially when you get to championship football. Conrad Nix just, you know, has to get that defense fired up right now.
That Eagle defense staring at going down 2 possessions and straight ahead on 3rd and short. Again, they needed a yard. And it's going to depend on the spot right here. This one really up in the air. John Nelson standing by on the sideline. John, what do you got?
Franklin Stevens said that he had, with his particular offense, looking at Northside, they had all the ers. They were faster, stronger, and could move around to figure out how things are going. So, as an offensive lineman, Phil, all you need to know is when the other guy's faster, stronger, and quicker, you just have to get in their way, right?
Either that or that makes him better than me.
You're going to look at Chris Simpson, the quarterback right here, of course, looking on to see this measurement. And it looks like the Tigers will be just well, right at the marker, first down. Northside was saying that they had made the stop there, but the nose of the football touching the stick there. So it's 1st and goal for Tucker, and the Tiger faithful hoping to be happier at the end of the night.
Well, I don't know about happier, but I know at this point in the game, it's time for, you know, the Eagles to get down. They got to keep their pads really low. They really want to try to make penetration to keep any of those offensive linemen from pushing them less than 6 inches.
1st and goal, Simpson under center, and the give is to Davis left side, and he is stuck. Eric Fields, 34, finally brings him down, and Fields has really been the bright spot on that Eagle defense here in this first half.
And you think Fields wasn't fired up that time to be able to break through and just see that it was just he in the back? Let's take a look at it. And that was Jonathan Davis, the man with all the speed. With great tackle, and this side he just holds on to him. This is what this Northside defense can do. And they got to have more of that, especially now. This will be a great momentum builder for them if they can do a hold down here and give up 3.
6 sacks on the season for Eric Fields, the junior. One of those guys that will be back next year for Kevin Kinsler, the defensive coordinator in this Northside team. 2nd and goal after a loss of 3. Davis again left side trying to turn the corner. This time he will into the end zone, touchdown. Davis just breaking the plane of the goal line, and it's a 2-possession game.
As Coach said, Jonathan Davis is a football player who has a nose for the end zone. And you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line, because being that close down, you have to make contact.
Well, he got tripped up right there, but a great job to put that hand down to get some balance right there, and got enough to get on in there as Ricky Peacock adds the PAT. And with 10:07 left here in the first half, it's Tucker 14, Northside nothing, and a picture-perfect start for that Tiger program.
It definitely is. I just seeing Conrad Nix down there trying to get his troops rallied. But there's a touchdown again, and Davis just breaking to the outside. And there's nothing, once again, the speed, even him losing his balance, he still had enough just to be able to pull himself across that goal line.
Well, the question was his knee down, but I believe he got in there. The officials have done a great job here already in this first half, and I think that was the right call. There you're going to look at the Tigers drive right there. 7 plays covering 55 yards, just 2:40 off the clock, and Davis with his 2nd touchdown run of the night.
And, you know, you just saw him smiling over there having a good time. It's like, I had to run that far, I'd be out of gas by now.
There you're going to look at Peacock, who will boot it away for the Tigers once again. Of course, Tucker, their last trip here to the Dome was in 2003. They fell to Statesboro 27-24. They've been to the semis 6 times now throughout their history. Meanwhile, Northside making their 3rd consecutive trip to the Dome. And there's Nick Bass with some real estate. Up to the 36, they'll mark him out. And Peacock, the kicker, had to make the tackle. Nick Bass, we haven't talked too much about him early on here, but he is certainly a big play guy and a big special teams play. You know, this is really going to be a battle of field position with both these defenses out there, and Northside with a good return.
Yeah, you figure in games like this, I mean, most all your games, you got, you know, keys as your field position, and then how well your special teams play, and then mistakes, but how you capitalize off of those mistakes.
You know, we're talking about Ivory, Phil, as being the couple of school records there, and Taiwan Green, but Bass also school records for receptions, yards, and touchdowns all time there. And number 3 in the backfield right here, a little shuttle pass back in the middle. Dangerous play right there inside to Green, and he's 8 up. Tucker all over that one, may have lost a yard.
Give a lot of credit to that Tucker defense. Once again, just staying at home, just reading the play. That's one of the things Coach said. They teach these kids to read everything offensively and defensively.
Tevin Holloman with the last stop right there. And that time you noticed on that last play field, they actually kind of brought Bass back into the backfield to make it look like they're going to run the option, hoping that that would sort of spread that Tucker defense out, but the Tigers were having none of it. So 2nd and 11 right here. This time Scott out of the shotgun. Same formation. They will hand it to Bass this time, but again going nowhere. He may have lost another half yard on that play. And boy, that Tucker defense is lights out here. Marcus Ned with the stop.
And we talked about it once again, having the speed that Tucker has. You got a big offensive line, and once again, they're not really huge, but they're bigger than the Tucker line. But Tucker is actually getting in there, and they're firing in the gaps. And that's one of the things,
right.
Running that defense that they run, they're able to fire gaps, and they're able to have linebackers actually get vision to see exactly where the runners are going.
Brian Lamar, the defensive coordinator for the Tucker Tigers, has to be pleased with the way his unit has played here in this first half. 8:38 to play, second quarter. Scott firing a pass deep in the flat end, some contact out there, and a late flag does come flying in. Edward Daniels over there in coverage. May have got there a step too soon. The late flag, I wasn't sure they were going to throw it for a moment.
He looked like he was hesitating. That's when you just say, Mr. Official, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong place.
Well, I'm sure Coach Stevens was pleading his case over there on the sideline, and
he's still pleading his case.
He's still talking. Mike Boyd with the call.
Defensive pass interference. Automatic first down.
So there you go. Northside up around midfield now as they try to get into Tiger territory right here, trailing by 14. Northside won state title. Of course, that was last year. 9 region titles. A few players in the NFL and 88 all-state players. What a tradition this program has had over the last 10 years or so. Scott looking to throw a pass. Man wide open. That's Arthur, the tight end, down inside the 30. Evan Arthur with the grab, and Joe Scott, a great decision right there. You know, he earned the nickname Tebow in round 2, and that was sort of a Tebow-looking play there. Kind of going into the line a little bit and then coming back and throwing the pass.
Well, you got to give Scott a lot of credit, and then that's one thing that Coach Nick said. He, you know, this kid has stepped up and he's performed well. He's taken care of the ball and hasn't made many mistakes. That was just a great pass and a great run, great finisher.
Edward Daniels on the stop for Tucker. As you see it again, perfectly thrown ball, and Evan Arthur, the tight end, slipped out there in the flat and was wide open. 1st and 10, ball at the 27. Scott again to throw it deep down the field, has a man, touchdown Bass. Nick Bass, the all-time receptions leader at Northside, is in the end zone, and the Eagles are on the board.
And that's probably going to change the way this game is going now. And did you notice just how cool Scott was? He just sat back and just found his receiver. Nick Bass is just an incredible athlete. We take a look at it. He drops back, doesn't panic. Nice throw over the top, and Nick Bass does the rest.
Devin Pike to add the PAT to try to cut that lead in half, and he does so. And the Eagles have grabbed a little momentum back here after falling down 2 possessions, and that'll certainly wake the Northside crowd up right there.
Oh, definitely, and you can also see it down on the bench. Guys are going around patting each other. We take a look at it one more time, and look at Joe Scott. He steps up, makes a great throw. Nick Bass just does what Nick Bass does. He just catches balls, and so just a beautiful pass. Actually, it was so good, I think you could have caught that.
Might have been able to. Great blocking up front, too. Credit that offensive line. They gave Scott plenty of time to throw the football. As you see the Eagle drive, 4 plays, 64 yards, and under 2 minutes, 27-yard touchdown reception for that young man right there, Nick Bass.
As they said, now that's a drive.
We ought to mention, too, that man sitting next to him, Joe Scott, who threw that pass, his younger brother is actually the pitcher and catcher for the World Little League champion Warner Robins baseball team. He was the starting pitcher in the championship game, so that's a family that knows a little something about winning the big game.
This would be one happy household. And if you heard about that, they were just saying, keep going, keep making plays, because now you do have the momentum on your side. Get a chance for defense to do some things now.
Back to the Tigers returnable for Jonathan Davis, who will bring it out. 15 and hit it to 16 and drop. Great coverage by the Eagles. That's Fields, the linebacker, down on special teams, and you got to like a guy that's not only a starter on offense or defense, but a guy that'll get down there and be a headhunter on a kickoff team.
I think, Dave, this is just one we just need to watch. I mean, textbook, put your helmet down, get low, squat, grab the man, take him to the ground.
Fields with a big first half. We do want to congratulate, by the way, for all the folks watching, the Warner Robins Little League champions there. Quite a feat going on up there to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and winning the championship earlier. First down and 10. Tucker with the football back right here. That is Calhoun. He is hit and dropped, trying to squeeze out of there, and a flag in there, or maybe a face mask, or maybe a hold. There's a lot going on in there on that sequence.
Or maybe we'll just wait.
Yeah. And you saw it right there. Mike Boyd, the official, with the call, holding on Tucker. Northside 3-1 inside the dome. 121-12, their 10-year record, as we take a look at that last penalty there. See if we can catch it. Yep, right there.
Yeah,
you see it.
He's got his hand. He's around his back. He's grabbing him like that. He's ripping his shirt.
Bryson Williams even called for it. He helped the officials out there a little bit.
Hold it. On the offense. Replay first down.
And as you just saw, take a look at Coach Stevens. None too happy about that.
So trips near side now to the short side of the field out of the huddle on first down and about 20.
And don't be surprised if Tucker runs into the boundary.
Davis, the lone back, Simpson under center. They will hand it to Davis, trying to work around the left side. There, loses the football and gets it back at the 2. How about that? Ben Hicks, number 9, with the tackle right there, nearly forced a fumble, and boy, that would have been a huge play for the Eagle defense to recover that thing.
And just give the Eagle defense a lot of credit. They just keep playing. And caused the fumble, he knocked it down. And good thing that Jonathan had quick hands to be able to reach out.
Well, Simpson may have gotten his way there a little bit. The quarterback trying to get out there to lead block for him. They kind of crossed paths a little bit. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not.
But I like a quarterback that wants to get out and be a lead blocker.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can't fault him for that at all. But second down and 25 right here. Tigers in the shadow of their own goal line, just trying to get it out of there. Calhoun made a man miss across the 10 and out to the 13, still well shy of the original line of scrimmage. Darius McGee and Leslie Jordan out of the secondary and up to make the stop.
The Tigers, once again, they're not going to give up. They're just going to keep playing their game. They're going to try to figure out what it is they need to do to get back into this ball game, and give a lot of credit to the Northside defense. They're playing extremely well right now.
Bryson Williams took a shot at him right there in the end zone and looking for his safety. Here's 3rd and 14 right here as you see Simpson bringing the play in from the sideline. Nico Lipscomb, the outstanding wideout, is in the game up top. 2-back set, and they'll hand it to Harris, left side, following his blockers, drives it up there. And back to the original line of scrimmage, Darius Ivey, the leading tackler on that Eagle defense. With the stop, it'll be 4th down. We're going to look at Harris, 5'10", 169 pounds. 13 touchdowns on the year. But Tiger will boot it away right here. And now Northside looking at some possible field position right here. And a big play away from tying it up, really.
And they should get an opportunity to get a pretty short field on this.
Patrick Hamilton just got it away. Nick Bass back deep. He will let it go. And a good punt right there by Tucker, and it takes a little bit of a Tiger roll just inside the 35.
I take back my short field comment. You always have to let the ball bounce a few times.
5:32 to play here in the first half. We'll step aside, take a timeout. Back here inside the Georgia Dome. A quick reminder for you fans with friends and relatives outside of Georgia. This game is available live via the GPB website at www.gpb.org/football. So again, all around the world, you can watch this game right here. And of course, we certainly encourage all the folks to do that. Call their relatives out of state. We know we've got some of our servicemen and women watching around the world, and we certainly welcome all of our folks in uniform joining us here tonight. So Northside back on offense here after a punt. That's Nick Bass working out of the backfield right there. Of course, had that big touchdown catch a while ago. Marcus Ned with the tackle. And a gain of 2 for the Eagle offense. Dave Garner, Phil Proctor back with you. John Nelson working the sideline here tonight. Of course, the first of 2 Quad A semifinals on the night. The second one later on live right here on GPB, and that ought to be a good one as well. Thomas County Central and Ware County going at it.
And I understand Nelly's going to be around for that one too.
2nd and 8. Joe Scott working out of the shotgun with the receivers spread all over the place. Firing, has a man nearly intercepted, broke it up nicely by D'Angelo Couch. One of those pony players as we talk about. That's, of course, what they named the 2 outside contain guys basically in that Tucker defense, and their Couch with the defensive pass responsibility right there. Got a hand in front of Nick Bass, and nearly, if he could have got that other hand around in there, might have been able to pick it off.
And if he had her, that would have been 6 because there was nobody in front of him.
They're going to look at the combined yards for both teams here, 176 to 67. Tucker with the advantage here in the first half. 3rd down and 8. Big play if the Eagles want to keep this drive going. They're trailing 7. Tucker, meanwhile, has only trailed once all year long. That was in round 2. After they went down 7-0, Scott got that ball out of there, and that one in and out of the hands there of Evan Arthur, and it looked like maybe 24 again got a hand on it.
Dave, take a look at where this really starts. That defensive line just puts a lot of pressure on him. He just had to throw the ball up. There's no place for him to go.
Well, the ball just off the fingertips there of Arthur, thrown a little wide. It will be 4th down as we take another look at it here. Big pressure right there coming in by Marcus Ned. And that forced Scott to get rid of that ball a little bit quicker than he may have wanted. Evan Arthur, 34.4 average. Boots it out of there. Great looking punt will drive Harris back to the 15. Trying to turn the corner. 20. And stood up at the 23. Great special teams coverage. You know, Phil, that's part of the game that is often overlooked between offense and defense, especially with these teams here tonight. But both teams have great special teams. They are special.
And these coaches work with these special teams. I know that Coach Stevens said, like, once again, that's what's most important for them. That's what they start off with. And I know it's the same thing with Northside Warner Robins. If you see these guys come on the field, offense, defense, both these teams, when you look at them, they pretty much on paper, they have a lot of similarities. The only difference is Northside Warner Robins might have a little bit more weight.
Right.
But they seem, like I said, the quickness. Northside has his own quickness in the backfield.
Trying to turn the corner. That's Calhoun once again. Not much there, though. A couple of yards. Leslie Jordan, the corner, with the stop.
Speaking of defense.
Yep. Talking about the first half that Fields, the linebackers, had. You see him right there, number 34, blocked that time. Had a tackle there on special teams, and you can look at that speed.
Play and contain. Just don't let them get outside. Basically, make them turn up inside. Your linebacker should be there. You can get some support from your safeties.
2nd down and 6. After a gain of 4, Harris works the left side back into the middle. Stood up. And we'll have about 4 more. Darius Ivey head-to-head right there, one-on-one with Derek Harris. Ivey, as we mentioned, the leading tackler. A couple of sacks this year. 5'10", 200. He's listed at Harris, 5'10", 169.
As you mentioned early on, we knew this was going to be a dogfight. Did you have any idea it'd be 14-7?
3 of 4 for Tucker on 3rd down. 3rd and 1 right here. And they give us to Harris, left side, trying to turn the corner. And he will have the first down and out of bounds up at the 37. And Northside had it played there. Harris showed a lot of patience. Actually had to go backward a little bit. Was able to turn the corner.
And I know he did well. I'm going to give him credit. But the big man, Avery Jones, came right up. And just all of a sudden, he had that big paw. He reached out. But once again, speed will get you every time.
So 3:11 left here in this first half. You're going to look at Harris, one of the workhorses for that Tiger offense throughout the season. Calhoun again in motion, and that one blown dead from the snap. Movement up front. They'll back it up. Simpson can't throw the football, but he has really been one of the big rushers on the year for Tucker. Of course, he's gotten it done. They're going to look at Coach Conrad Nix.
Snap infraction on the offense. Replay first down.
The center right there, Taylor, looked like may have flinched on the snap there a little bit. Penalties, 5 for 44 for Tucker. Northside, though, flawless in that category so far. There's all kinds of running room for Calhoun. Watch out. He's off to the races. It's a foot race, and he will win it. Drayton Calhoun, touchdown, 68 yards. How about that? Wow. And there's that speed we were talking about. You either have it or you're chasing it, and that time the Eagle defense was chasing it.
And you see Coach Stevens real happy about that, the explosiveness of Calhoun.
So just like that, Tucker adds to the lead. Northside threatening at one point to tie it up. Ricky Peacock once again with the PAT, knocks it through there. 3 minutes left here in the first half, and it's now back to a 2-possession game at 21-7. And what a play right there. Calhoun showing you some jets there in the middle. Good blocking, trap and pull it all in there. And then the seam.
Coach Stevens said you were going to see a whole lot of that. They were going to spread you out. They were going to trap. I mean, they're guards. That's basically what they do. They trap and they pull. They're not big, but all you need to do is make contact. There's a hole. I think I could have got through there. Now, it may have taken me longer to get to the end zone. And Calhoun was one of those guys that, once again, a speed guy, has the ability to turn it on and make things happen.
We talk about one of the characteristics of this Tucker offense being the big gaping holes, and there was one right there. And then Calhoun did the rest, putting a little move on there, getting Morton turned around in the secondary. And from there, it was a foot race. As you see the drive, 4 plays, 78 yards, just 121. All these drives really have been short drives, very explosive, big play type drives for both teams. Peacock with the kickoff right here. Nick Bass from the 3. He's got the 15, 20, still on his feet, and they'll give him the 24. 2:51 left here in the half, and Tucker in control so far, but again, a football game is made up of 4 quarters, and Northside, they've trailed before, and there's certainly no doubt that this is a team capable of coming right back and sticking one in there.
I don't think this is a time to panic or be concerned. Conrad Nix has been in situations like this before. He has a very good football team. They just got to stay focused.
Northside, of course, next year moving up to 5A with the new region realignment. Tucker will stay in 4A. So the final time these two teams could play in the next couple of years. Here's Taiwan Green. Ball pops loose after a big hit. It is picked up. Tristan Carter, number 4, to the end zone. Touchdown. How about that? 18 yards on the return, and the Tigers are back into the end zone just seconds later.
Take a look at it, Dave. Just a great hit. He just put his helmet on the ball. The ball, it's loose.
Jamoris Slaughter, number 8.
And there's your boy Tristan again.
Lay in the wood. And Slaughter again, the free safety, came up there and laid a lick on Green. Ball popped loose, scooped up by Carter. And he carried it in from 18 yards out. Peacock, another PAT. And less than 20 seconds later, Tucker back on the board. It's now 28-7. Green again out of the shotgun right there, lined up at QB that time. And then you see the scoop there defensively, and Carter out of the pack with it, with a parade of white jerseys right next to him. You can see the hit right there. Boy, just put that shoulder right into the football. Jarred it loose.
We just talked about how both these teams have tremendous defenses. But we talked about, remember earlier, about Jonathan Davis and how he can put a lick on you. But just everybody on the Tucker football team, they don't really have like one superstar. Look, 18-yard fumble recovery for a TD. No one superstar. They are a team, and that was the philosophy that Coach Stevens had, is to get everybody in to play as one.
And they're going to look at the man who jarred that ball loose right there, Slaughter. 6'1", 171 pounds, 3 interceptions on the year, and put his full frame into it. Now a timeout called by Tucker right here before the kickoff, and I believe that will be their final one.
Timeout, Tucker.
Well, Phil, 30 hours of live high school football right here on GPB over the next couple of days. So Tucker set to boot it away right here. The only 13-0 versus 13-0 this weekend on GPB. Not to take the drama out of the other games, but the battle of the unbeatens here tonight. And returnable for Bass at the 1. Watch out, he's got a big seam there. Back towards the middle of the field and up to the 33. It closed in a hurry. Tucker did a nice job there of making that play a little less impactful than it could have been had Bass been able to hit that seam a little quicker.
You know, and Nick Bass is one of these guys that he sees his team down. He's going to try everything he can to at least get them in a position where they can try to score.
And that was Jamora Slaughter, 8, who didn't make the tackle, but he turned him in right there because there was a big seam right there, and then 8 came flying in out of nowhere to turn his direction a little bit. So Joe Scott and that north side Warner Robins offense goes back to work. Scott looking to throw the ball deep down the field. He's got a man there. It's going to be nearly intercepted. Kevin Cooper was the closest receiver, but Nico Lipscomb had it, knocked it away.
And what a good thing that was. A great throw, though, by Joe Scott. Gets enough air under it. Just a little short of the receiver. And I'm sure that concerned Conrad Dixon.
Well, it was there momentarily. Scott just underthrew it a little bit at 2nd and 10. 2:30 left in period number 2 here inside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Live high school football action right here on GPB. And this time Scott showing option but throwing in the flat. Knocked away. Great defensive play once again by D'Angelo Couch. And that's the 2nd or 3rd one he stepped in front of here in this first half.
And that's that speed we kept talking about. He laid off of him and saw the pace. See, these guys read very well, and they've got the speed to make up the difference. And here he comes. And he was just a step away from taking that into the end zone.
We're going to look at Couch. Has been very active here, to say the least, in this first half. 5'11", 168 pounds goes Couch. And it's 3rd and 10. Northside trying to convert right here before the half. Trips near side. Scott again to throw. Under pressure. Gets rid of it. And there's no one there. Daniels, the closest man to it. And it will be 4th down. Scott really had nowhere to go. Great coverage downfield. And then Tucker started getting some pressure on him, and he just had to throw it away. So in comes the punt unit one more time for Coach Nix and the Northside offense. 1997, the last time Northside did not win 10 games in a season. 10 years straight, they've won at least 10 games each season. That's remarkable.
See, I knew you had all that information over there.
2 back deep for Tucker. Arthur gets it away. Good punt on his last one. Another good punt right here. Fair catch signal at the 33 from Slaughter. And Tucker with 2:12 to work with here before the half, going to try to tack on another. They're going to look at the offense there, and, you know, not that they don't have any size up front. Let's make that statement because I know that, you know, this is maybe a quote-unquote undersized line there, but they do have some bigger guys there. And there you see our nightcap tonight, 9 p.m. Thomas County Central, a perfect 13-0 on the year, taking on the Ware County Gators at 11-2. Both teams with some Dome history. Again, Ware County here a few years back, Thomas County Central several times. And there you're going to look at big Avery Jones dragging down Drayton Calhoun behind the line there in Jones with a couple of big hits here in this first half.
And to be a man that size, to be able to run the play down from the backside, give him a lot of credit.
And again, he's just a junior. He'll be one of those guys back next year. This is really a rebuilt defense. The fact that they've only allowed 5.2 points a game, 68 points basically all year long is remarkable. And until this game right here, as we mentioned, 18 straight quarters without an offensive touchdown. But Tucker has had an answer here tonight with 28 points here in a little less than 2 quarters. There's Harris in the middle for a pickup of 3. Anthony Taylor, 43 with the tackle there.
And if you're Tucker, you know, with the clock winding down to the half, you want to definitely make sure you're protecting the football.
You know, this is a Tucker team, as we talked about, Phil, that traditionally in the playoffs each and every year they've kind of stumbled when they got into the postseason. Last year, of course, 7-3, they missed the postseason altogether. So for these guys to rebound, be here in the Dome in a game from a state championship appearance, remarkable job by Coach Stevens and this Tiger program. Here's Calhoun on the move. And up to midfield, a gain of about 12 yards and a first down, and they've got some time to work with here, but again, they're out of timeouts.
Well, David, and back to your point, the thing is, these kids had to go and learn a new system under a new coach and a system that they had never seen before. And to buy into it, that was Coach Stevenson's biggest challenge, is to get not only the players to buy into it, but the coaches that were still there and the coaches that were coming in and that whole Tucker community. So he's done a great job.
1st and 10, wing tee look right here. Simpson this time looking to throw under pressure. Somehow gets out of there and will fire it downfield. Has a man but overthrows him. And a late flag comes flying in there. Nico Lipscomb, the intended target. And a little bit of contact there perhaps behind the play.
And great athleticism by Simpson, being able to run sideways and then try to make that throw.
And it will be on Tucker. There you look at Coach Stevens, replaced Bill Ballard, who's now Peachtree Ridge. He was the DeKalb County Coach of the Year. And deservedly so. Here's Mike Boyd with the call.
An eligible receiver on the offense, downfield, replay first down.
So that'll back him up there a little bit. 33 seconds left here, 1st and 15 now. And Tucker with that 28-7 lead may be content to go into the locker room right here. Quickly up to the line right there. No run of play. Harris, rather Davis, to midfield. Gets about 5 of that back there. Anthony Taylor with the stop, and the clock will roll.
As you said, they may be content to go in. As you see, these guys, basically, Northside just needs to regroup. And I know the Conrad Nick's going to take them in and settle them down a little bit, because you have to think with all the speed that Tucker has, they may not have anticipated exactly what it would look like, because they're all over the field right now.
Tigers won't have to snap it again as time expires here in the first half of this one. Great football game. Tucker, though, in control up 28-7. Over the Northside Eagles here in the first half. And if you're Tucker, you really couldn't have drawn it up much better than what happened here tonight.
Well, you got to be excited, too. It's first time for a lot of these kids, you know, to even be in the Dome, to even play, and to have your coach come in and tell you, hey, this is what we're going to do. We believe we can get this done. And they're doing a great job of it.
Well, the Tucker faithful fired up here after a half of football. And again, 28-7 after the first 24 minutes. Of course, the Battle of the Bands coming up here at halftime, as you see the Dome crowd here tonight. And again, Tucker, their first trip here since 2003. Let's go downstairs. John Nelson standing by with Coach.
Thanks, guys. Here with the coach. Everything pretty much went right for you in the first half.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, but the thing about it went right for us, and we were able to capitalize a couple of times. I am a little concerned that we fumbled the ball. We've had 2 fumbles, and the last couple of games we haven't turned the football over. So I am a little worried about that. We got to go in and work on, talk to the guys about protecting the football. The other thing we got to do is cut down on penalties. We had a couple of big holding penalties that got us in trouble. But defensively, I think our kids are playing well. The thing about it is, Northside is, they're ranked in the nation. They're the #1 team in the state. They won 28 in a row. they're going to come out and they're going to play in the second half. We've got to withstand that, and we've got to finish this thing.
You said the first half scary for you?
Yeah, it's scary because of the fact that right now, we're up, but everything is going our way.
Thanks, Coach.
How can we keep momentum?
All right, thanks, Coach. Let's send it back.
The GHSA State football semifinals in the house here tonight. Tucker up 28-7 over Northside at the break as we now focus our attention to the field and the Battle of the Bands. Again, the Tucker High Marching Maroon Storm, 61 members strong. The band director is Forrest Watkins. Again, their performance title tonight from the Columbia Motion Pictures Fanfare. Let's listen in. The Tucker High School Marching Maroon Storm taking center stage here as part of our halftime coverage. Let's go ahead and throw it downstairs to John Nelson, standing by with some special guests. John?
Here with Mr. Watkins, the band director of the Marching Maroon Storm. What's it like for you to be back? You're not a younger person here. What's it like for you?
It's a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with it. The kids are really enjoying it. We have a lot of fun things happen. We have a lot of good things happen in the future. It's my second year at Tucker, and I'm really pleased with everything. The kids are really disciplined. They're really learning a lot musically, and I'm really excited about being at Tucker High School.
So what's this week been like for you guys preparation-wise to get ready for the Big Top?
We've been really excited. In the midst of getting ready for this show, we're also getting ready for a Christmas performance at Tucker Baptist Church on Thursday the 13th. But like I said, it's been really exciting, you know, because the football team has never gone so far. They've been to the Dome, you know, but it's just a different feeling this season. It's just a different. It was exciting for everybody. We just couldn't wait to get here.
So when you get a number together, what goes into that when the thought process to make sure that something gets to full song the way it did here today?
Well, the first thing I have to consider, the main thing is musicality. It has to be something that's going to be music, something instructional that's going to help the kids learn as musicians, something that is going to help maybe get them scholarships to go to college. You have a lot of people who want to be music majors, but that's the first thing, musicality. Then you have to entertain the audience too. I look at that also. I look at something that's fun for the kids, something they'll enjoy doing. They get something out of it.
Mr. Watkins, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
One band down, one left. Let's send it back upstairs.
28-7 our halftime score as we return you to the field as the Battle of the Bands continues. The pride of Northside from Northside High School. It's the Blue Wind Marching Band, 135 members strong with their performance title, Earth, Wind, and Fire Show. Let's listen. the Blue End Band. A great performance right there. Let's go back downstairs to John Nelson. John?
Here quickly with Mr. Gilbo, Paul Gilbo, the band director. You brought some company with you. What's it like being under the big top?
Well, been here a couple of times before, and same old, but we're just excited to be here. Excited we got some new students, new parents, new crew coming in the mix to experience all this at the Dome.
Did you introduce them to Earth, Wind, and Fire first off and say, hey, I've got a great new band for you?
Oh, yes. For some, yes. For some, old hat. Mom and Dad knows Earth, Wind, and Fire.
So what's their response been to playing in numbers like that with nice horn sections and things like that?
Oh, it's been great. We've had a good time, a good experience learning some actually pretty intricate music with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Is there a particular number in your wish list of wish lists that you ever wished that you could do that you'd like to do in the future?
Oh, gosh, all kinds of things. I don't know if there's any one particular. We got a couple of great ideas getting ready for next year, so we're going to put it to it.
Paul Gilbo, thanks for your time. Thanks for your time. Let's send it back upstairs, and we're going to track down another coach.
All right, thank you, John. A great job there. The battle of the bands, both bands doing a great job. We certainly welcome everyone back in there. And Phil, pretty interesting first half right there. Tucker with the lead right there. Northside still very much though in the football game.
Well, it's exactly what we thought about this game would look like. And you got some highlights to do.
Absolutely. Again, Jonathan Davis with the opening score of the game. Tucker early on there in the first period, 9:57 left there, a 36-yarder. And, of course, that set up the 1-yard run by Davis, who had 2 touchdowns in that first quarter for the Tucker Tigers. But later on, Joe Scott hooks up with Nick Bass right there on a 27-yard reception. That cut the lead in half. But then Drayton Calhoun got into the act, a 68-yard run right there as Calhoun shows you a little bit of his speed. And he would outrace the Eagle defense to the end zone there. Then later on, next possession right off the bat there, a big hit by Jamora Slaughter, scooped up by Tristan Carter for an 18-yard return. And that's where we're at 28-7. And Tucker leads in the stats so far. But again, Northside with a whole other half of football, a very dangerous team that has the capability to come back in a hurry.
Remember, this is a Northside team that was nationally ranked. This is a Northside team that is #1 in the state. It's going to be a great second half.
Let's go ahead and throw it back downstairs to John Nelson.
Here quickly with Coach Nick's first half, they were really getting to the corner on you.
Well, they were, and a little bit disappointed at our Northside community in Northside. This is not the way that we normally play, and I don't know what it is. We've just got to hopefully the second half get inside ourselves and come out and play really, really hard, and hopefully we get a break or two and get back in this ball game.
I know offensively you were concerned about blocking early on as well.
And obviously we're not doing a very good job of that. They're exposing some of the things, and we're just not don't have quite enough time to maybe throw the ball effectively. And they're doing a good job shutting down the run. They're good. They're good.
Thanks, Coach. We'll send it back upstairs.
Back here inside the Georgia Dome, 28-7 as we get set for the start of the third period. Dave Garner, Phil Proctor with you. John Nelson on the sideline along with the rest of our GPB broadcast crew. Tucker received the opening kickoff. Now they will boot it away to Northside, who will start the second half on offense. 28-7, Tucker leads it. Again, 2 touchdowns from Jonathan Davis in the first quarter. And from there back and forth, here's Nick Bass on the return inside his own 5, out to the 15. He's got the 20. Big seam right there up across the 30. And once again, good starting field position for that Eagle offense. Jamora Slaughter pushed him out over on the far side. So let's take a look back at the stats there from the first half. Passing yards, 56-29 in favor of Northside. Rushing yards, though, Tucker, 251, 280 total yards, 61 for Northside. You see the penalties right there. Again, the Eagles flawless there. 1 turnover apiece. 1 led to a Tucker touchdown right there in the time of possession. Basically even right there. Calhoun, 11 rushes for 140 yards and a touchdown in that first half. 1st and 10 right here. And Scott opens up the second half at quarterback. Taiwan Green on the carry. Not much there at all. Maybe 4 or 5 forward progress right there before Tucker got to him. So a good gain on first down by the Eagles.
Dave, for the Eagles to get back in the game, I think they are going to have to get the ball to Taiwan Green. He is a playmaker, and you know what? The backs love to be able to get the ball. And who is that on the football field, Dave?
Marquez Ivory. There, you're going to look at his numbers for the season. Of course, the Eagles trying a lot of spark right here. 56 of 93, almost 1,000 yards on the season. Has gotten it done with his legs. We don't know how effective he will be, but he is in the lineup to try to provide a spark right here. And a handoff. Green, loses the handle on the football. Still rolling around ball. Loose, recovered by Marcus Ned, number 91. That thing rolled around for a while. And just like that, Tucker with a big play defensively to open the half.
And in order to win championships, you got to play mistake-free football. It was a good idea to get Marquez on the field. but you got to take care of the football. But once again, Tucker, very aggressive, helmet on the ball, and they just keep fighting. They just keep fighting.
Corey Billings, number 57, it looked like was the guy who maybe got a hand in there and stripped it away. So just like that, Tucker right back on offense at the Northside 38. That Eagle defense needs a big stop right here. On the ground, Calhoun dives forward, but not much there at all. Again, Eddie Thomas, number 99 of Northside, with the play.
What would really help Northside right now, Dave, 3 and out. They just need 3 and out. Get a little spark, get the ball back, and get their offense back on track.
Northside, of course, the only 15-0 team last year in the state of Georgia. Of course, went on, won the state championship, a perfect season. They've been perfect ever since their last loss again in the 05 semifinals. As you get a look at the first half possessions for Tucker, touchdown, fumble, touchdown, punt, touchdown, and half. So almost half the possessions right there resulted in scores for the Tigers as they take it down to the 32. And that was Jonathan Davis on the carry. Ben Hicks and Eddie Thomas looked like combined for the stop there for Northside.
And this will be an easy time if you're Northside to really kind of get down and hang your head a little bit. But this is a very class act on defense. Conrad Nix is a good coach. He's got these guys. They're going to get back into this ball game, Dave.
130 dressed players on the roster. 5th trip to the Dome since 1990 side for Northside. And Tucker right here with a 3rd down and 5 offensively. Harris in motion, going to swing it out. Quick toss right there. That's Slaughter down to the 30. And he will be shy of the first down, about 2 yards short.
Credit the Eagles on defense. They just did what they had to do. Stayed at home, played contained, kept them from getting that first down.
Here to look at Coach Conrad Nix. You saw Coach Stevens there a while ago. Coach Nix, of course, 21 years as head coach. His son Patrick, the offensive coordinator at the University of Miami.
This would be a big stop for Northside right now if they could do this.
4th and 2, Tucker going for it. Simpson under center, 1 back, man in motion. The give right side, and that one blown dead. Right at the snap. And I'm not sure if someone called a timeout right there. Yes, indeed. Tucker did call their first timeout. They burned 2 in the first quarter of the first half, and they burned 1 here fairly early on in this third quarter.
Tucker.
And of course, next weekend, 4A and 5A state championship football live right here on GPB as well.
You know, I just got to give hats off credit to Tom Valdez and all that crew that put these games on and do a fantastic job.
Absolutely. 4th down and 2 after the timeout. And the Tigers have not changed their mind. They're still showing they're going for it right here. They will snap it. Davis trying to get there. He won't. Great job. Eagle defense all over that one, and that might be the spark that the Eagles need. Randall McBride, number 33, one of the first guys there to stand him up. And a bunch of teammates there to help him out.
And it looked like, talking about that defensive Northside, all they had to do is just keep playing, keep playing. They just shed off the blocks, and they're there. I don't know if you noticed, Jonathan Davis got off the ground a little slow, kind of hobbled to the side.
There you get a look at McBride, the junior safety. A big stop right there. So Northside now back on offense and trying to get it rolling there. Again, the early turnover on the opening play there, and Ivory looking to throw the football deep. Has a man down there. Kevin Cooper knocked away, though. Great defensive play once again by D'Angelo Couch. And how many times did we call his name in the first half?
Exactly, but you know what? We also talked about bringing in Marquez for that particular situation to get him to throw the ball deep. And, you know, the thing is, he hasn't been playing. Look at the numbers for 32, over 3,200 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, and set school records.
Absolutely.
So you haven't been playing in a while, David. It makes a big difference. I know, talking to Coach Nix earlier, he said that the stiffness was still in the ankle, but he didn't have the pain. So he really can't. Trying to plant on that back foot might be a challenge for him.
Broken fibula. Back in October in the Upson Lee game, one that Northside won 31-26, their closest game of the year. He went out early in that game. Another pass right here. He's got Cooper. It's a foot race. Kevin Cooper to the end zone touchdown. Big play right there. 69 yards on the pass and catch from Marquez Ivory to Kevin Cooper. And there's the spark.
You say in big games you need big plays by big players. Well, Marquez Ivory is a big player. He came to the sideline. Coach Nix just gave him a pat on the head. It's almost like they've done this before.
Devin Pike to add the PAT right here with 8:48 left in the third period. And it's right through there. 28-14, hold everything. Still plenty of football left here tonight. If you see Ivory, boy, I tell you what, he's a big kid back there at quarterback, and he's got an arm on him, and he flexed it on this play.
And he got great protection.
That was right on a rope right there, and Cooper able to pull that ball away. If he takes a little something off of that ball, it's knocked away, but as it is, a great catch, good concentration right here by Cooper, who basically did the rest after the grab right there. We talk about yak yards after catch, and oh, there you go.
You just wanted to say that yak yards, didn't you? I know it.
Also had number 8, Tracy Lawrence, out there helping block as well downfield. I like a receiver that'll block downfield. They're going to look at the drive. 2 plays, 69 yards in just 17 seconds. That's what you call answering the bell right there after that turnover. Get the football back and a quick strike.
Well, we talked about that at the halftime. This is, once again, this is the #1 team in the state. They're ranked nationally. They know how to win ball games. They just have to have opportunity.
And there's a reason why they're #1, and they've been #1 for a while. 28 straight wins coming in here tonight. Still trailing by 2 touchdowns right here, but they've got the momentum on their side here early. And they're going to look at Harris. Tucker trying to answer. Harris will take it inside the 10, trying to get to the wall. Watch out. 25-30, turns a corner up across the 35, and they'll mark him out. Around the 37, it looks like, and a good return there by Derek Harris, the senior who was the workhorse in that first half, along with Drayton Calhoun. And now that Tucker offense set to go back on the field. Good crowd on hand here tonight. Of course, game 4 of 5 live right here this evening on GPB. One more to follow. The other half of the Quad A puzzle between Thomas County Central and Ware County. They're going to look at the folks who have made the trip up from Warner Robins here tonight. Drayton Calhoun hit immediately. Avery Jones, 97, looped him. And not much there at all for that Tiger offense.
And give a lot of credit to Jones. I mean, he comes from the backside, and this guy is like 6'4" and 250, and he's making plays. Watch how he basically just runs him down. And with the long arms, and that's another thing. You know, being 6'4", you got long arms. You can make great plays like that.
We used that wingspan on that last play. So 2nd and 11 after a loss of 1. Again, Simpson this time hands to Harris. A little bit of real estate, breaks a tackle. Ivy had him around the ankles. And a gain of about 6 yards. Derek Harris, an excellent season there. As we mentioned, 5'9", 194 pounds. He's stout. 10 touchdowns on the year, but a big 3rd and 11, or about 3rd and about 4 or 5 upcoming right here for the Tucker offense. That north side defense trying to make another stop and get the football back. Tucker will keep it on the ground. That's Calhoun, hit hard by Eric Fields, number 34, and Avery Jones, who combined for the stop. And another 4th down upcoming right here, 4th and a yard and a half. And it looks like Tucker will trot on the punt team.
And there it is, once again, that defense from Northside, never laying down, never quitting, consistently playing. And if you notice, all you see are blue shirts.
Right. Well, the Tigers will boot it away here. Patrick Hamilton will do the honors. Nick Bass back deep once again. 6:57. Hamilton gets it out of there. Good high kick that'll drive Bass back to the 12. Trying to get to the far side. Makes a man miss. He's got a wall. Watch out. 30. And on his feet up to the 35 and out of bounds goes Nick Bass.
I will not be surprised if he doesn't break one of those before the night's over.
Robert Jones and David Lee for Tucker pushed him out of bounds, but they're going to look at Bass. A good return. Back here inside the Georgia Dome. They jumped the gun on us there a little bit. We'll take a look at that last play in a moment. It was a 1st down gain on the ground for Northside. So a 1st down and 10 from their own 49 go the Eagles. Ivory looking to throw, has a man, and complete to the 40 to Nick Bass. And another first down after a gain of 12. But the Eagles starting to feel it here a little bit. Trailed 28-7 at the break. Came out here early on in the third quarter and scored a touchdown. Here's the play we missed before the break there. A little toss there to Green. They picked up good yardage. That was the first play of the drive right there. So 2 plays, 2 first downs for Northside, and that offense is starting to feel the groove a little bit.
Well, you got your leader back on the field. You know, you got the guy that has taken you there, and, you know, give Joe Scott a lot of credit, but Marquez is the man that makes things go.
And this time, Ivory loading up, firing. He's got a man complete to the 10. Nick Bass again on the receiving end of a long one. And that ball perfectly thrown where only Bass could get it. There was a defender in the area, Nico Lipscomb, but could not get a hand on it. And it's first and goal, Northside.
But you know what? Watch into this. Give Bass a lot of credit. He goes up and gets this ball and still is juggling and gets enough control on the ball to bring it down.
Look at one hand. Unbelievable. Wow.
Talk about a momentum shifter right now.
3 of 4, 110 yards and 1 touchdown already in this game for the senior, coming in here in the second half. And the Eagles threatening to make it a 1-possession game. Cooper near side. Twins up top. Now Kevin in motion. Quick toss. Green hit. And the Tiger defense all over that one. Tristan Carter, the first man there.
I think they smell that before. Tyron Green kind of just went out to the left a little bit. I think they had an idea where it was going.
Look at that Tiger defense. As we talked about, they've only allowed 4 points on average all season. Have done an excellent job. Meanwhile, Northside, as we've talked about, 34.4 points a game offensively, outscoring opponents 70-0 in the 3 playoff games prior to the semifinal. 4 of their 5 offensive linemen returning starters, so that's one area that they have not had to rebuild. Here's Ivory. Plenty of time now under pressure. Will shuttle it out there. He's got a man complete to Green. Down to the 5. Improvisation by Ivory, but there is a flag down.
That was exactly the word I was going to use. Playmaker, yes.
2 flags down at the 10. And that will be on Northside, so that play coming back. But, man, great athletic play right there by Ivory, who just threw that ball out there. Conrad Nix will bring in the play here. Does call the plays. He will send it in with Tracy Lawrence, the senior wideout. Tucker will back him up. Once again, our man in the white hat tonight, Mr. Mike Boyd from the All-Star Football Officials Association.
An eligible receiver on the offense downfield. Replay second down.
Talking about Coach Nix staying up, and you can see with the technology, if you will, of offense, you see the penalties right there. Northside with their first penalty of the night. Tucker 6 for 49, and this is certainly a state-of-the-art type of offense. Here's Ivory, quick hitter. He's got Cooper back inside the 15. Tristan Carter 4 with the tackle. And it will be 3rd down and goal, and there is a Tiger player down on the play there. That is Carter. And he will need some attention. 4:10 left, 3rd period. The action has sort of picked up here, and this Northside crowd, if anything, has really gotten back in this football game.
Would the numbers 11 have anything to do with this?
Well, and certainly to take nothing away from Joe Scott, because he's done great in relief, and we talked about it. John had mentioned up top tonight, possibility of 4 different guys taking snaps between Green, Scott, of course, the starter, Ivory now in the second half, and also Kevin Cooper. We haven't seen much of Cooper from the quarterback spot here tonight, but you got a lot of options, and that only makes it harder for an opposing team to prepare for you. Should get a look at Northside on the move right here, but a injury timeout on the field. Later on tonight here at Thomas County Central, 13-0, taking on Ware County at 11-2. That's the final game tonight, and then we take you right on into tomorrow, beginning with AA as the undefeated Buford Wolves take on the Dublin Fighting Irish. That ought to be a good one right there. And of course, following that one in the noon game, the other half of that AA equation between Lovett and Cook. The Lions at 11-2 and the Hornets at 10-3. And then, of course, the other half of the AAA bracket between the Cairo Syrup Makers at 12-1 and the North Hall Trojans out of Hall County at 13-0, their first trip to the Dome. And then, of course, both 5A matchups tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. It's Walton Raiders at 12-1 taking on the North Gwinnett Bulldogs at 12-1. And in the nightcap, the final game this weekend at the Dome in the 9 p.m. 5A matchup, Lowndes and Camden County, the Vikings and Wildcats, both 12-1. And, boy, that's become quite a playoff rivalry over the last few years. Third down, Ivory firing towards the end zone, knocked away. Great defensive play. Bass the intended target, but guess who? Derek Harris on defense.
You've called that name a lot. Offensively, defensively, this kid is just a ball player. He just makes plays no matter where he goes. But I give a lot of credit to the offensive line right now for Northside. They're giving Ivory a lot of chances to throw this ball. As you see, he sets up, and you got to be a brave man to come back from that injury and just be able to stand there. And he's getting a little bit of movement. So if there's some stiffness there, you really can't tell.
Great break on the ball there by Harris, who read that out of Ivory's hand. Otherwise, he might have been a little bit late getting there. Fourth down and goal from the 14, and Northside keeping the offense on the field. Twins up top, Bass in motion. Ivory looking, he's got time, going to fire into the end zone. He's got a man in and out of the hands of Bass. Oh. There is a flag down. And let's wait and see what the penalty marker is. We'll see if Northside has another play here.
Bass got popped pretty good as the ball got there.
Yep. It will be on Northside, and it will be declined, and Tucker will take over. And yeah, you do see the player there at the top of the screen. Bass took a shot from behind there after that ball bounced away. And let's hope he's okay. Taking a look at the play right here from the end zone cam.
Illegal shift on the
in and out of the hands, and then Harris laying the lick from behind. So 28-14. Looked like illegal. Was it illegal motion, I believe, on Northside there. And of course it was declined by Tucker, so the Tigers will take over offensively once Bass is up and okay here. Again, 28-14, 3:54 left in this third period. There you get a look at Bass, who's being helped up there. Just took a little shot. He's still in a little bit of pain, as you can see there, but he's working his way up on his own power. He's a tough kid. The all-time receptions leader at Northside, as we've talked about. Has done a great job this year and really being a leader. And he is one of those seniors that will certainly be missed. A lot of youngsters, as we talk about, especially on defense for Northside, but Bass is certainly going to leave his legacy with that Eagle program no matter what happens here the rest of 2007.
And you see Conrad Nix really caring about his players. He went up there and he was helping Bass off the field. And knowing that this is a important game, I'm sure if Bass can go shake it off, he'll be back. Coach Nix coming back to the side. You gotta like that, man. Your coach goes out to check on you and then helps you back off the field. I'll play for a guy like that.
So Tucker back on offense right here. First down and 10. 3:54 third period. There is, oh boy, Harris on the carry. That ball stripped loose there momentarily, and the Eagles nearly got a gift. I think Harris was able to get that ball back, but barely.
You know, we talk about defense wins ball games. This is a great opportunity for Northside to go ahead and try to get the ball back, give themselves another possession. As you take a look at it, Harris comes around the side, and yeah, he got, oh yeah, he did lose it.
Yeah, it looked like 34, Eric Fields, who tried to rip that ball away. You know, the Tiger defense has certainly taken a lot of headlines this year with 7 shutouts, but the Northside defense also has 6 shutouts on the year. No playoff points allowed, as we talked about, until this game here tonight. And they're trying to quiet and slow that Tucker offense a little bit and get back in the game. Still just a 2-possession game. Simpson on the keeper this time, going nowhere on 2nd and 8. Eddie Thomas, number 99, has really been the He's a big body inside there, and he has certainly made some plays up front there, really stopping it up in there.
And that's what you got to have right now. Guys just being able to make big plays right now as the clock is winding down. Give your offense a chance to get back on the field.
3rd and 6 upcoming. Tucker offense needs a big play right here. Some people have argued that they are really the fastest team in the state from top to bottom, especially when you consider their offensive line being as quick as they are. 3rd down and long right here. And we give us to Harris trying to turn the corner. Good block there. Still on his feet. Harris, 1st down and more. Watch out. Midfield into Northside territory and out of bounds at the 31. Leslie Jordan pushed him out, but what an effort right there by Derek Harris on 3rd and 6.
We talked about this at the top of the show, man. Harris is just being one of those guys. He never quits. His feet never stop. Gets a great block out there by Davis. And it just keeps going. 3, 4, bad tackling.
51 yards altogether on the run, and you saw Davis throw a block and then go get another. And they're going to look at Derek Harris, who will take a play off right here to catch his breath. 9 rushes, 85 yards for the senior here tonight.
He's making plays on defense and offense.
And it looks like we got a penalty marker down. Illegal substitution. 12 men broke the huddle, it looked like, for the Tigers. 2:07 left, 3rd period.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down, 1st and 15.
Coach Franklin Stevens right there. Not liking the last call. Northside, as we mentioned, 3-1 in the dome. Tucker with the ball right here again. That is Drayton Calhoun. He breaks the tackle and nearly gets away from Darius McGee, the safety right there, and nearly had more. And it will be close to another 1st down gain of 9, close to 10.
You know, Coach Stevens talked about what they like to do is they like to spread the field, but every once in a while they like to put that bunch formation. They like to bring everything in tight and still run to the wide side of the field.
They're going to look at Drayton Calhoun. We talked about him in the first half, 140 yards rushing in that first half. Had that big 68-yard touchdown run. And to see the Tiger cheerleaders in the house here tonight. Harris in motion. Back in the middle, great cut right there. And he will have the 1st down on 2nd and short. And Tucker in the Eagle red zone. Ivy and Hicks combining for the stop for Northside, but once again, Tucker on the move here late in this 3rd quarter.
We talked about how Tucker really enjoys that trapping, that pulling, that guard. I mean, to be a guard in this offense, and definitely you get a lot of reps.
That Eagle defense has been so solid this year. Replaced 8 starters over there, as we talked about. And right now, though, their backs up against a wall here, but a big play right there. Avery Jones, 97 once again. And you know, we're talking to some of the Northside coaches before the game, Phil, and one thing they say about Jones, he really uses his hands well. Plays with his hands.
Well, Coach Nix talked to me yesterday. He said that, you know, he is basically what they call a technician. Coaches tell him exactly what they need him to do, and then he just works at it and works at it and works at it. And they say he's real good at what he does. It's the kind of kid that you really enjoy coaching.
Again, listed right around 250. He may be a pound or two heavier than that.
You know, 1 biscuit or 2.
2nd and 11 right here. Tucker again on the move. Northside, though, trying to make a stop. A little busted play right there, and Simpson will be drugged down for a big loss. Eric Fields once again. How many times have we called number 34? And not only has he gotten it done defensively, but also on special teams as well. He's had all kind of tackles there as well. And that time a little miscommunication there on the exchange, it looked like. Simpson with the football and had nowhere to go. 3rd down and 20, and that is it. The end of the 3rd period here inside the Georgia Dome. We're back with the final 12 minutes when we return. It's Tucker 28, Northside 14. The Northside cheerleaders in the house here tonight, trying to fire up the home sideline here, but it's Tucker who leads it 2 possessions as we start Quarter number 4 here inside the Georgia Dome. Dave Garner, Phil Proctor, John Nelson sideline tonight along with the rest of the GPB crew. It's the Tucker Tigers on the move here at the north side 26, but it's a big 3rd down and 20. A little shuttle pass inside to Harris, but he is hit and dropped. A loss of 3 on the play. And a big-time stop, Eric Fields with the hit.
You know, we talked a lot about early on about Tucker's defense, but it seems like Northside's defense is coming alive right now. They're penetrating upfield, and they're causing some things to happen. And there's your buddy, number 97 again.
Well, we've called his name a lot here, especially in this second half. You're going to look at Jones.
And, you know, being a defensive end, Dave, once again, I'll say it again, long arms. It pays to have long arms.
Northside, of course, beat Marist last year in the state championship game, 30-6. Of course, it was the school's first state title. And that defense has really stepped it up again this year in 2007, hoping to bring home another state championship, go back-to-back. Meanwhile, Tucker, with 12 region titles, looking for their first state title. They were here in the Dome in 2003. And they will take a penalty right here to try to back them up.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
I think they want to give Patrick Hamilton a little bit more punting room right here. Brandon Jordan back deep right here. Tucker going to try to pin the Eagles. Northside brings a rush, but they get it away. And down at the 4. Good job there by Tucker, so Northside's got a ways to go with the football. 11 minutes left here, early on 4th quarter. While we have a chance, all of us here at GPB want to express our thanks to I.J. Rosenberg and his staff at Score Atlanta for their excellent pre-dome coverage of all of our games this weekend at the Georgia Dome. And we certainly appreciate all the folks with Score Atlanta. Very impressive publication. I grabbed a copy before the game here tonight. All kinds of great Atlanta sports news, especially our high school coverage right here on GPB. We certainly want to thank all those folks.
It's a great sports newspaper, man.
Inside handoff right here. Taiwan Green got a little bit of real estate. Boy, there's a little giddy up in his step on that play.
And we talked about one of the things that Northside needs to do is put the ball in his hands because he is a playmaker. And we got a man down. Let's see it once again. Gives him the handoff. He's just looking for a place to pick up some real estate.
Looks like there are actually 2 Tiger players down on the field right here. One of them looks to be Tevin Holloman, one of those big defensive linemen, trying to pick up another number there.
It looks like they're catching cramps.
55, yep. It's Holloman and 57, Corey Billings, 2 of those defensive linemen down on the field right here. There you get a look at Holloman limping off on his own power. Gain of 9 on that last play, so 2nd and 1. Want to mention, too, that Northside High School, the 2007 one-act play state champion. So, again, already a state championship for Northside High School there. We certainly want to recognize all those folks.
The one-act play. You kind of like a one-act play yourself.
There you go. Little drama department.
We won't bring that up.
Northside back on offense. You know, the secondary has really stepped up for the Tigers, and that really is the heart and soul of this football team. We've seen that here tonight. D'Angelo Couch has made some big stops there. But now Northside keeping that ball on the ground, trying to pound it in there. And still, you know, you've got almost a whole quarter left to play here. You're down 2 touchdowns, but you're at a point where you can still continue to run the football. You may not be able to do that down a couple scores with 5 minutes left. You may have to start throwing the football, but Northside right now can basically stay in their offense.
And I think that's probably what Coach Nix is going to do, is to continue doing what you do and do it best.
Total offense for the Eagles first half just 61 yards, but as you can see, they've picked it up with 139 here in this second half. 10.5 minutes to play. Marquez Ivory again in the shotgun. Quick toss. Green again on the carry. Not much there, though, at all on first down. A gain of a couple. And a big play by that Tucker defense. 5 returning starters. For the Tigers, 9 on defense, 11 college prospects, basically. It's a lot of talent, really, on both sides of the football field when you take a look at some of these guys, and there will be plenty of them moving on to the next level.
And speaking of talent, Nick Bass is back on the field. Good to see, because they need him. He's a big play guy.
Absolutely. You know, we talked about Ivory and his injury. Really, that really forced this team to come together. I mean, I think when he went out and Joe Scott came in, they rallied around him and really forced this team to be more than one player. And there's a wide open Kevin Cooper. It's a foot race, and Cooper will beat Couch to the end zone touchdown. Marquez Ivory with the big arm winding up once again and tossing a home run.
That was exactly what I was noticing, how he just sat there and just wound up and just put a nice touch on it. It floated long enough for the receivers to keep running, ran right up under it.
82 yards to Kevin Cooper.
All right,
to go along with that 69-yarder a while ago. And here's another look at it. Ivory just airing it out.
Arm string. And just a great catch by Cooper.
Well, he was 5 yards behind the defender right there. And easy to get lost in the pack right here. North side to add the PAT, and it is through there. Devin Pike knocking it through, and there you're going to look at the drive. 4 plays, 95 yards. Remember, that drive started on their own 5. And again, just a minute 32 off the clock. Cooper, his second touchdown reception of the night, 69 and 82 yards respectively.
And what you know what, the spark that Marquez Ivory gives this ball club to be able to come off. His teammates got to know he's probably in a little bit of pain right now, but they know how important this game is to him.
And again, 9:28 left in the game. Northside can stay in their offense, but now the attention turns to their defense. And if you're Tucker right here, again, up 28-7 at one point, you got to get that offensive rhythm back you had in the first half.
Well, Coach Stevens, being a man, a very good disciplinarian, is probably going to try to figure out what just happened on that play. Try to get that defense back focused again.
We're going to look at Coach Conrad Nix, who's got to be a little more pleased with his team's effort here in this second half.
I think as long as he's been coaching it, he probably looked at the score. It didn't even bother him because he just knows what kind of weapons he has. He knows what kind of kids he coached.
Pike set to boot it away for the Eagles. Has done pretty well in the kickoffs here tonight. Has gotten some good distance.
We said this was going to be a ball game.
And it is, folks. Stay with us right here. A little bit shorter kick this time. And it will be taken by Harris up across the 20 and to the 22. So 28-21 with 9:23 to play. Tucker with a 7-point lead and the football. But still plenty of time here, as we've talked about. Tucker, of course, 2 games midway through the season against Mays and Washington that were within a touchdown. All the rest have been 21 points or more as far as margin of victory. And basically the same story for Northside. Again, the Eagles with that close game against Upson Lee, as we talked about the game that Ivory got hurt in. But since then, Northside's pretty much been lights out. So really both football teams, as you talk about, Phil, kind of mirroring each other a little bit throughout the season. Here's Drayton Calhoun upended. Looked like number 9, Ben Hicks, who came over there. Or was that number 6, Leslie Jordan, the corner?
You know, Northside, you know, the game that they played against Rome, they're pretty much faced the same type of wing tee that the Tucker Tigers run. So they've seen this before. They pretty much, they know how to handle it. They may not have seen the type of speed that they're seeing tonight, but they're making the adjustments they need to make.
Leslie Jordan with the tackle on that last one there, as you see the eyes of that Northside defense trying to come up with a big stop. 2nd and 7. Tucker trying to move the sticks here, work that clock, and that one's going to be blown dead. Movement there on Malcolm Davis, it looked like, up front. So that'll back the Tigers up right here.
Good ball. Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
That's the kind of thing that causes coaches to lose sleep.
Oh, yes.
Especially when you're in a tight ball game like this.
Mental mistakes. We're talking about the size of the Tucker offensive line. Smaller unit. Some of their backs outweigh some of their linemen, but These guys have gotten it done up front. Second and long, a little bit of room there in the middle for Harris, who's up across the 25, and they'll give him the 26. So a big third down upcoming. Darius McGee, one of the safeties up there for the hit, as we near the 8-minute mark. 42-1 in the last 3 years are the Northside Warner Robins Eagles. Truly remarkable.
Oh, it definitely is. But, you know, I'm looking at some of the Warner Robins faithful down there. They continue, the Northside folks, they continue to support their team. They're rallying. I see folks are just clapping hands, got their hands up. You got to like this, man. This is what it's all about.
3rd and 6. And Tucker may have drawn the Eagles offside there along the front. Avery Jones looked like came across here.
Just a playmaker trying to make a play.
Yep, a little anxious. Good hard count right there by Chris Simpson. Drawing him off.
Good ball, encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
But 3rd and 6 becomes 3rd and 1 right here, and a little bit more makeable. See what Tucker does right here if they try to pound it, or Simpson. And that one going to be blown dead. That one might be on Tucker. They might go, well, no, going to call a timeout right there. So the Tigers do burn their 2nd timeout. They've got 1 left.
Timeout taken by Tucker.
7:43 to go, 28-21. The Tigers in front right here. .743 left as you get a look at Coach Nix. 3rd down and 1 after the timeout. Northside with all 3 timeouts still. Tucker with just 1 here. And Simpson straight forward on the sneak, and he will have the 1st down. Great job up front there by Tucker, and they'll move the chains. First season for the Tigers, believed to be back in 1950. And they have put together certainly some great tradition. Semifinal appearances in 57, 62, 63, 66, and of course 94 and 2003 being the latest. And of course the 3rd consecutive trip for Northside here to the Dome. Their last loss, the state title game in 2005, as you see the Tigers total offense, 280 in the first half, just 84 in the second half, so certainly a tale of 2 halves for both teams. Calhoun hit right at the line. 1-on-1 with Jones, and once again 97 in the act.
Now see, I told you, man, you get an end like that. I mean, this guy plays a very good technique. He's sitting there. He doesn't go anywhere except where he needs to be, and that's what Coach Nix was saying. He's a great player to coach. You tell him where you need him to be, and he's there every time. And I know every time he makes a tackle, you keep smiling up here.
Well, you run away from him, and you got Anthony Taylor on the other side as well, so you don't fare a whole lot better.
Okay.
2nd and 10. Harris corralled again, slung forward. We'll have a couple on the forward progress right there after Eddie Thomas. Big Thomas wrapped them up.
Big Eddie. Big Eddie just kind of collapsed everything down there. To be as big as he is, and definitely was still being able to move and track the runner down. See, I like the big guys, man. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
So a big 3rd down and long upcoming right here for that Tiger offense. Again, Tucker beating Clark Central in round 1, Northwest Whitfield in round 2, and Bainbridge 34-7 in the quarterfinals. 295 yards rushing for the Tigers in that game. Jonathan Davis with 2 touchdowns in the win. 3rd down and 6. A little speed sweep right here once again. Harris hit though and takes a big shot from Fields on the tail end of that play. And this Tucker offense is a lot about tie sweeps, speed sweeps, a little bit of everything when it comes to sweeps, but Northside playing it well on that last one.
Well, they got swept up that time. And coming from the backside, you know, where's Eric Fields? He just come,
wow,
now
shot.
That is a great play.
Fields has certainly stood out here tonight defensively for Northside, and now Tucker will have to boot it away with A little over 5 minutes left, and things are going to get awfully interesting here in a moment.
Well, you know what's really been interesting, too, is that a lot of the plays that have been made on defense tonight have been made from the backside, and that just shows you how much speed these kids have.
The pursuit has been excellent for both teams defensively here tonight.
Correct.
And delay a game. It looks like the clock ran out. And I don't think Tucker was trying to give Hamilton room to punt there. I don't believe.
Delay on the offense. 5-yard penalty. We play 4th down.
Might have been late getting one of the guys on there. Had 10 men on the field there, and that forced the penalty. Both coaches looking on here, trying to rally their teams late in this one.
I believe Nick Bass is back to return.
Yes, he is. Another great punt right there by Hamilton, but returnable for Bass inside the 25. Breaks off a tackle and drug down right there. Great coverage by the Tigers on special teams. Jamoris Slaughter, number 8, down there to make a tackle. And they're going to look at Coach Nix wanting to huddle his guys up right here. Again, Northside trailing by just 7 after being down 28-7 at the break.
And there, you know, we talked a little bit more about, you know, staying with your game plan now. With 4:42 on the clock, it just becomes a little more urgent trying to make sure you get a play. Look at Marquez's numbers. 197 yards, 2 TDs. He comes in the game, he's just a spark plug. He just gets things going.
And all that in the second half.
Exactly.
He came in at the start of the 3rd quarter. Nearly 200 yards passing. Goes to the air again right here. Double pass from Scott. They got a man just out of the reach there of Taiwan Green. Brought 2 quarterbacks in the game that time, and now there's a penalty marker down. They may say it was a forward pass on the first one there. Little trickeration from Conrad Nix.
Hadn't seen any trickeration until this point.
It's again Mike Boyd, our referee here tonight, and they're going to wave the flag off. So the play will stand as is. It'll be 2nd and 10. You know, one name we haven't called a lot defensively for Tucker has been Jonathan Davis. Has been more of a workhorse offensively. Of course, a transfer from St. Pius, who, of course, played Northside here in the Dome last year. So if that sounds familiar, some of the Northside faithful, that's why. Again, Jonathan Davis.
He's the only one that has played against
there you go.
Northside.
2nd and 10. Davis lined up in the middle at linebacker. Here's Ivory once again to throw it. Downfield has a man complete. That's Cooper once again, and Kevin Cooper has been his favorite target here in this second half. Edward Daniels with the stop. And when you've got a guy like Cooper and a guy like Bass on the outside, boy, that gives you a lot of flexibility in what you do offensively.
And with the fact that Marquez knows what these guys can do, and he's getting the protection that he needs to be able to step up and make a great throw. And his guys are catching the ball, and they're just picking up yards.
Northside, of course, beating Creekside in round 1, 14-0. Pretty close game. There was no score at the half in that one before Kevin Cooper had a couple of touchdowns in that game. And, of course, he's got 2 here tonight, 5 receptions, 171 yards. And it looks like Ivory will go to the air again. He's got Evan Arthur, the tight end, into Tiger territory at the 40. Northside's on the move. That's a 1st down.
You know, what I like about this whole thing is that he is using the entire football field. He's looking for various receivers. And this is the sign of a senior who understands what he's trying to do. And he's got a lot of different options out there that he's using.
We're going to look at Ivory. Well, you know, we saw it earlier today, Phil. A great comeback in that AAA game. Right at the very end, 3 touchdowns by Carver Columbus over Chamblee. And now here's Northside on the move. They were down 28-7. And looking to possibly tie it up right here. Taiwan Green slipped through there and picked up 5 on 1st down. Clock not much of a factor right now. And again, Northside, remember, they still have all 3 timeouts. So they've got some room to work with here.
And it's going to be important to make sure they take care of the football, especially being this deep.
Well, and, you know, we've seen a few pop out here tonight for both sides. So got to wrap it up. They're going to look at the current drive. 4 plays, 30 yards, minute 10. On the ground once again. It's pretty much Green left and right here as Northside pounds it, mixed in there with an Ivory pass, and really the running plays kind of open up the passing game a little bit for Ivory. Kind of draw that Tucker defense up there. Green, the all-time leading rusher at Northside, surpassed Greg Manson last week in the quarterfinals in that 30-0 win over Rome. Green with over 200 yards rushing in the game. Joe Scott threw 2 touchdown passes. But it's been all Marquez Ivory here in this second half. 3rd and 1. Ivory going to throw the football. Heaves it up. Got a man there. Caught. Touchdown. Are you kidding me? Brandon Jordan, number 19. One of the first times tonight that we have called his name, and that's a 31-yard touchdown reception. Wow. The penalty was pass interference against Tucker. Of course, declined. The touchdown stands. And now the Eagles within an extra point of tying this thing up.
We got ourselves a ball game.
Devin Pike, number 80. 5 of 7 on field goals this year and just a sophomore, so he'll be around for a while. And possibly the biggest extra point of the season upcoming right here for the Eagles. What a tale of 2 halves, Phil, though. Tucker dominating the first half, Northside dominating the second half.
We said these were 2 very good football teams that had a lot of things in common. They both have great athletes that make great plays, and they both got very good coaches.
Here you're going to look at Brandon Jordan, the man on the receiving end of what could possibly be a game-tying touchdown right here with 2:32 to go. And a very important extra point right here. And Joe Scott, the starting quarterback here tonight, is the holder. And that one is right through there. 28 all. How do you like that? Wow, what a comeback by the Northside Eagles. Big plays from Marquez Ivory in the passing game. 6 plays, 65 yards, 210, and the 31-yard reception by Brandon Jordan. And we are knotted up.
And take a look at this, Dave. There's pressure coming from the backside. He feels it and yet stands in there long enough to get that ball up. And the ball was actually looked like it was tipped.
Well, Harris made contact. That's where the flag came from.
On the scoring play, you have pass interference on the defense. That 15-yard penalty will be marked up on the kickoff.
So the penalty will be tacked on there. Yeah, it looked like Harris may have got a fingertip on that ball after the contact with Jordan, and Brandon was still able to concentrate and make the grab. Just a remarkable play.
Definitely incredible catch.
So the ball will be placed at the Tucker 45, and a chance right here for Pike to put this one through the uprights possibly, or they may want to try to pooch kick it and keep him inside the 20. 2:32 to play. This game's not over with by any means. Both teams with big plays in the special teams here tonight. Good field position, so Tucker thinking return here if they get a chance. Northside may just try to boot it out. And Pike will unload it out of the back of the end zone, no doubt. So to the 20. And the Tigers will have it right here. Again, Northside has seen some great play at quarterback over the years. Former QB Chancey Stuckey now with the New York Jets. And now it's Tucker, Chris Simpson, who will step into the spotlight right here. And we'll see what the Tigers elect to do, whether they keep it on the ground or whether they try to throw it. Again, they have not thrown the football all that much this year. They've been effective when they have had thrown the football, but certainly not the bread and butter of their game plan. As you see the timeouts, Tucker with just 1 left. Northside still with all 3. On the ground, Drayton Calhoun tries the right side. He'll pick up a couple.
You know, as you mentioned, you know, they definitely are trying to stay with their game plan. They do not throw the ball a whole lot. And when they do, they're pretty successful. But their bread and butter is keeping it on the ground.
Player down for Northside. Again, that is Anton Williams, number 92. One of the big guys up front. It was Northside with a 26-0 win over Evans in round 2 course, as we mentioned, Northside had not given up a point in the postseason until tonight. And everybody around the state was talking about this being a real defensive type game. You know, the first team to score could win, and you just kind of had to know better that things don't always play out the way they seem. Both teams putting up 28 points here tonight. I think if you would have asked most people that follow these two programs, would both of them put up 28, the answer would have been a resounding no.
Well, as you and I were talking about it, we weren't, you know, we were trying to speculate how many points we thought they would put up. We knew they would be great defense. We didn't think it would be that much. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think it'd be 28.
Right. GHSA semifinals, don't forget, tonight, the other half of this quad A equation between Thomas County Central and Ware County is up next at approximately 9 o'clock right here live on GPB.
It may be a little bit after 9 o'clock, depending on how we go here.
Well, I said approximately.
Okay, I'll go with approximately.
Hey, that's just to keep you hanging out there.
Oh,
you know?
okay.
We don't want you to tune away.
All right. Dave's helping everyone.
Hey. That'll back the Tigers up. Not that many penalty flags. Not a lot of laundry in the first half. We've seen a little bit more yellow hanky here in the second half.
Illegal substitution in the offense. 12 people in the huddle.
And the second time we've seen that penalty call tonight as well. You see that a lot. That's really one thing that the officials around the state really focused on over the last couple of years is breaking the huddle with 12 guys. You've seen that penalty called a lot over the last few years. It's really been an emphasis, I guess, if you will, or a focal point for officials. So 2nd and 12 after the penalty. Tie ball game. And there's Davis on the carry, but nothing doing. The Eagles obviously made some adjustments at halftime, and they have continued to keep it going here.
As we knew they would.
There is Ivy, one of the first guys in there, 32. And the clock will stop with 2 minutes right here, 3rd and 11.
Timeout taken by Northside, Warner Robins.
The Eagles will burn their first timeout. They still have 2 left, and they're thinking about getting the football back right here.
I'm just laughing because we kept thinking about, like, wow, would we have a great game tonight? It's like, you know, how good would it be? This is living up to be everything that I thought it was going to be. And this people kept talking to me this week, talking about how, you know, big this game is and what it would actually mean. I think it's done a lot to live up to the hype. And, I mean, it's no telling. This is going to be a good ride for about 2 minutes here.
Yes, it is. Well, Tucker has only trailed once this entire season, and that was in round 2 of the playoffs against Northwest Whitfield whenever they ran back the opening kickoff. But, of course, Tucker answered with a 95-yard kickoff return of their own on the ensuing kickoff. And from there, they got it right back. Meanwhile, Northside has basically been in the same boat, as we mentioned, pitching a shutout defensively throughout the entire postseason. And stepping up here when it counted. Again, 28 points tonight for both teams, but hey, it's a brand new ball game. It's 0-0 with 2 minutes left. And Northside, if a stop right here, they're looking to get the football back in decent position. Tucker, meanwhile, they got to take care of the football. 3rd and 11. They want to convert, but they also don't want to take any chances on a turnover. As you see the injured player, Jonathan Davis, being helped off the field there a little bit.
It looked like leg cramps again.
Yep. We're going to look at Davis, who will be stretched out, and they need him in the game on both sides of the ball. Uh-oh, bad snap right there on the ground. Simpson will go down back inside the 15. Anthony Taylor right there to eat him up. And Tucker will punt the football, and the clock will stop. The Eagles calling a timeout with 1:52. And they are staring at some good field position.
You know what? And sometimes you just need a big play at the right time. And this could be just the spark they need to take a drive down.
I'm not sure if that snap almost looked like it maybe went off his leg.
Northside, Warner Robins. Reset the clock to 1:55. Reset the clock to 1:55.
They will give the Eagles 3 more seconds. They were over there hollering for that timeout. Coach Nix halfway out on the field there trying to get the timeout called, and they save themselves 3 seconds. As you see, Patrick Hamilton, who will boot it away from just outside his own goal line, and back deep, Nick Bass stands at midfield. Good punt, but a low liner returnable for Bass. Trying to get a wall. There's one there. Watch out. 40. Bass still on his feet, driving down to the 30. And Northside, with 1:42 on the clock here in the fourth quarter, will have a chance to go out a winner if they can move into field goal range or can punch it in here.
Tremendous effort, individual effort by Nick Bass. He gets caught and he just starts dragging people. And that just shows how strong he is.
Well, you gain field position in the special teams game, and that's what's happened here tonight. Both teams have had some big returns, and that set up good field position. And right now, Northside couldn't ask for a better field position. 1st and 10. Ivory looking to throw, swings it out. Green trying to make one man miss, stays on his feet. He's still going. Orlando Johnson, number 10, had a hold of him, but Green somehow stayed off of his knees and made something out of nothing. Take another look at it right here. You can see the tackle. Johnson had a hold of him, but he slipped away, and just a great effort there by Green. Ivory looking again to the air. No one open, trying to get rid of it, and he will go down. Good open field tackle right there by Lorenzo Bryson. Bryson, a sophomore linebacker, and that's a big stop.
I'm wondering if the Northside bench just got really concerned when he took off to start running.
Well, it will be 3rd and 6. So a big play right here. And you're Devin Pike. You got to be warming up over there, and he is on that north side sideline. As the clock rolls, close to 30 seconds. Ivory firing. He's got a man complete. First down, Bass. And he did not get out of bounds, so the clock will roll. Now they will stop it with 29 seconds left because Jamor Slaughter is down on the ground there, it looks like, but he is back up, and that will move the sticks. 29 seconds left. Tucker defense trying to come up with a big stop. Northside on the move. And Ivory will spike it. Stop the clock with 24 seconds left. Wow.
You wanted a ball game, you got a ball game.
You're going to look at Ivory on the same page here tonight, obviously, with his receivers. And again, his first game back in 6 weeks. Unbelievable win out in the October matchup there with Upson Lee during the regular season. Practiced a couple of days this week, was cleared by doctors to play here tonight. We did not see him in the first half, but came in here to start the second half and has really ignited a spark and a flag in here from the sideline. It looks like a little bit of movement. Maybe Kevin Cooper, the receiver, may have lined up.
Yeah, he seemed to be the one who had the outstretched hands.
Yeah,
like, who, me?
He did. Talking about Taiwan Green.
The dead ball, false start on the offense. The tight end was covered up. Moved to a new position.
So there you go. Taiwan Green has only had one game this year where he did not go over 100 yards. Other than that, he has been well over 100 throughout the year. As you see Green in your frame as the lone back, and now a stoppage, and Tucker will burn their final timeout to talk things over defensively. So even though the excitement level is heightened, the pace is slowed down.
It's the chess match between the coaches.
By Tucker.
And what a chess match it's been. Tucker, 28-7 as we talked about at halftime. North side outscoring Tucker 21-zip in the second half. And now, of course, it is all tied up. Here's a look at what happened earlier today in Class A. The first game, Wilcox County 32-14 over the Athens Academy Spartans. Getting a great day for Denard there. 233 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Then following that was Clinch County falling to Emmanuel County Institute 35-14 easily. 24 rushes, 280 yards. Again, Wilcox and ECI in the state championship. And, of course, Carver Tigers 26-24 over the Chambly Bulldogs, and an unbelievable comeback. That was a 24-6 game with about 6 minutes left. And of course, coming up tonight, a little bbit after 9 o'clock, we presume, will be the other half of the Quad A bracket between Thomas County Central and Ware County. Back to action after the timeout. Ivory firing towards the goal line. He's got a man down at the 2. First and goal. Clock will stop with 18 seconds while they mark the chains. Nick Bass on the receiving end with a big pass from Marquez Ivory. Once again. And Ivory will spike it right here, it looks like.
Timeout taken by Northside.
Well, Northside will burn their final timeout, it looks like. So neither team with a timeout, and decision time right here. Do they try to throw one into the end zone and then kick a field goal, I guess, if they don't get it?
Well, if you got that man right there throwing the football, then I would, it'd be good to maybe take a shot at it. Marquez Ivory has just come in and just motivated this ball club. But remember, these guys, he was in the lineup all season until he got hurt. These guys are used to catching his balls. They're probably excited to have him back on the field. As you said, not to take anything away from Joe Scott. He did a fantastic job. But Ivory's got that senior leadership, and he knows how to win ball games.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, the only 13-0 versus 13-0 this weekend. And the score is 28-28 with 18 seconds left and the ball's on the 2. I don't know how much more exciting you can get. I mean, I think that's really all you can ask for.
Look, I'm staying here, all right? This is going to be good. I'm not going anywhere.
And, of course, we'll do it all over again tomorrow. Double-A action, the other half of the Triple-A bracket. And, of course, both 5A games coming at you as part of a full Saturday of high school football here inside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. So 18 seconds left. Trips to the near side. Ivory out of the gun with Green in the backfield. No timeouts left for either team. Ivory going to throw it. Knocked down. Big pause by number 91, Marcus Nett, it looked like. Or no, that was 81 for Tucker. Marcus Clark, who went up and got his hands up and knocked it down.
That's what they teach you as defensive linemen. When you're rushing in, you see the quarterback about to throw, just put your hands up. You never know.
So it looks like Pike will come in for a 19-yard field goal attempt. Possibly the game winner from the near hash. Joe Scott will hold it. And that one blown dead before the snap there. And another penalty flag.
As you said, we did not have many in the first half.
Well, here we go, Phil. You know, we're talking about all the upperclassmen and the senior leadership, and it comes down to sophomore Devin Pike, who's been over on the sidelines.
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense. Half the distance to the goal line. We'll play second down.
That'll move it maybe a yard closer.
And kickers are normally just lonely folks on the sideline anyway, and yet they can be the hero or not.
Right. Well, you got to look at it this way. If you're Devin Pike, if you're the Northside coaches, you got to look at it as, hey, it's a tie ball game. Worst case scenario, dare I say, we go into OT.
You all right?
But, hey, how about going out there and making this kick? Meanwhile, if you're Tucker, boy, you've got to load up right here. As you see Pike, his field goal numbers on the year, 5 of 7. And another whistle. Delay a game, and I think this was intentional right here to take away that harsh angle.
You want that distance? You want to move it back? The offense, 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
A little cat and mouse game going on right here. That angle is tough from the near hash, so Northside wanting to give Pike a little bit more room to work with.
It's a long 14 seconds.
It is. A 22-yard field goal attempt for Devin Pike. And will it be the game winner? The kick is up, and the kick is good. Pike, a 22-yard field goal, and 12 seconds on the clock. The Northside Eagles hoping to once again punch their ticket to next Friday's state championship game, and a remarkable comeback. And the Eagles are just 12 seconds away from pulling off one of the more remarkable comebacks that we've ever seen right here inside the Georgia Dome.
And that's probably one of the happiest sophomores in this entire building right now.
Well, the Tucker Tigers drawing up a return right here, I'm sure, to try to get them some field position. They're going to look at the scoring drive. 7 plays, 24 yards. Again, just a short minute 30 drive right there, and a 23-yard field goal attempt by Devin Pike, number 80, the hero of the moment.
Wouldn't you have liked to have been in the locker room at halftime when Conrad Nix addressed his ball club? Because whatever he told them, they came out and performed.
They did. Tucker, meanwhile, never really regained that form, you know, that they had early on in the ball game when they were in control. Jonathan Davis a little bit banged up here in the second half. Really hasn't been as much of a factor as he was, and the load has really fallen on Derek Harris. The Northside, meanwhile, has turned the tables and gotten some big plays in the passing game from Ivory. Of course, Kevin Cooper, and with a couple of touchdowns, and Brandon Jordan. Here's a little onside kick attempt right here, and it will be recovered. David Lee, number 19, brought it down there in a situation where if you're Northside, you know, you don't want to give the ball back. You want to try to make something happen. You figure you can roll a few seconds off there. But Tucker will have a chance right here. If anything, boy, the Tigers now all of a sudden still alive at midfield.
Yeah, but you know what? With 11 seconds on the clock, you can't stay with your same ground game. You're going to have to go to the air.
And no timeouts.
Exactly.
And a penalty right there on Tucker. Northside will take the kick, take the penalty. Tucker will be back inside their own 40, so that changes the complexion a little bit. That's basically a 16 to 17-yard penalty.
Personal foul, late hit on the white team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So there you go. Tucker with their work cut out for them. Tigers last year in 2003. Northside here, of course, just a year ago, beating Marist 30-6 in the Quad A state title game. Simpson firing towards the sideline, complete, and out of bounds, just shy of the 45 to Jamora Slaughter. 7 seconds left. May be able to get 2 plays out of this, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You might get another play as we see the last play.
Great job to keep those feet
in bounds.
It's been exciting. Coach Franklin Stevens and the Tucker Tigers 7 seconds away from a heartbreaking loss, a game they were in control most of the night. Might be down to their final play. Drayton Calhoun split wide near side. And a quick toss right here. That's Slaughter makes a move back into the middle of the field, and he won't get there. And that is it. The final seconds tick off the clock, and the comeback is complete as the Northside Eagles out of Warner Robins return to the state title game with a 31-28 win over the Tucker Tigers. Unbelievable. That's all you can say here tonight.
We have seen a great ball game, and, you know, hats off to Tucker. They played an extraordinary ball game, but Northside Warner Robins, you got to give it to them. A veteran ball club with a lot of young kids, and yet
back here inside the Georgia Dome, the Northside Eagles 31-28 winners. John Nelson standing by with the winning coach.
Here with a very happy Northside family, Ovi Johnson, Chris Johnson's father, because it is all about 96 at Northside. Conrad Nix, how does it feel to be playing for another state championship?
Great. I'm just so elated for our guys. I just praise God. I'm going to tell you now, God deserves a lot of praise, and I just praise him. I thank him for letting us have the heart and the will to come back and play hard that second half. I'm proud of this guy right here. He means so much to our program. His son, I know his son is just over-elated. He's jumping up and down now. Just such a greatness. You know, it's putting it on the marquee right now on the thing. Chris Johnson on our hearts forever. You know, and he will be. And I just praise God for our players, our coaches. I thought we did a good job. I'm proud of Marquez the second half coming out and making a lot of great plays and all, and proud of this little lady right here too.
That's one of the best rewards you can ever get after a game like this. Talk about the impact that Marquez had for this ball game coming in.
Ask any 20,000 people, they can tell you, he was just electrified. Our guys believe in him. They know him. They know what he has contributed to our program. And I don't want to take anything away from Joe. Joe's done a great job, and I'm very, very proud of him. But the way that our receivers, what about Kevin Cooper the second half? Man, he stepped up. I'm really, really, and Kevin is, Chris and Kevin are very close. We're very close friends, and Kevin has had and he just played really great tonight. I'm proud of all of them.
Thank you, Coach. We'll see you next week. We'll send it back upstairs.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you, John. Once again, that final 31-28. The other half of the Quad A equation coming up tonight. Thomas County Central and Ware County. For our entire GPB crew, I'm Dave Garner. For Phil Proctor saying so long, everybody. We'll see you next time.